All right, good morning, everybody. I'll just make sure my stream's coming up. It looks like it is. We've got a lot to talk about today. CNN Fear and Greed Index still at 50. We also have very light economic data today. We had some mortgage-related data come in. Otherwise, we have stocks for like fuel, oil, refinery stuff. Nothing too exciting on that front. Everybody's talking about MicroStrategy. Everybody. That seems to be the hot new thing, even though it's been around for a while, up 4% in pre-market. We have Target getting crushed, having just horrific sales to start off the season, down 18% in pre-market. And then today at the end of business, we have NVIDIA earnings. And not just that, but we have Bitcoin looking to break out from 94,000. So lots of interesting stuff happening today. Without further ado, let's get started. I think the primary thing I want to focus on this morning is all this discussion about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin miners. I just see a lot of people that are like, screw the Bitcoin miners, I'm getting out. And I wanted to talk to just a bunch of things that relate to that conversation. And there's some good ones. British Hodl had a good one, an interview with Ben Workman. I really liked his take on MicroStrategy. I think there's a simpler one, that explanation that just comes from Michael Saylor himself, that I want to find real quickly in here and talk about. But there's a lot to cover. I think a lot of people are getting super excited. Let me just scroll all the way up here. I think they're getting super excited about the recent price action, because I did a post and I think it's pretty true. Right over here. Let me do this. I said people were asking me why I was buying MicroStrategy at these levels down here at the 200 moving average. They're like, oh my God, it's going to crack underneath. It's going to fall, blah, blah, blah. And it was that at what, $120? $120. $120. And when they were asking, like, they're like, oh, the premium, is it still too high? Should it be at this level? And then a little over 2.5 months later, now everybody's asking me why my entire position is not in here at $440 a share. NVIDIA is going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen into earnings. I won't be able to do my own earnings hosting. It looks like the time for my nephew's court is at 2 p.m. Central Time, so that will probably mess up my ability to speak about earnings. Maybe I can sneak something in. Otherwise, I might just hang out, watch with Amit or somebody else. But just to give you a heads up on that. But again, it's smarter to buy something down here before it launches 300%. MicroStrategy right now is a little over $90 billion, including pre-market. It's probably closer to $100 billion market cap. I think it can go to $400 billion this cycle, a 300% uptick, over $1/3 trillion. These are big numbers, but again, you can't let human psychology fool you. If you weren't willing to buy it down here, you're kind of an idiot for getting excited about it up here. No offense to anybody who might be thinking that, but you're kind of an idiot. And all right, let's look at some more here. So I got more conversations about it, right? I said also the great thing about MicroStrategy is that Bitcoin never leaves. So even if you don't own it, be happy, because it'll drive the market higher. Again, everybody, even if you didn't get the ramp on MicroStrategy, and I've got a decent amount of it, you got to realize I bought options in 2022 when this thing was closer to $15. So being at 450 in pre-market, I did fairly good. It's the reason why I made over 600% across my portfolio in 2023, or at least a primary one. I am going to be doing analysis, guys, on MicroStrategy, and I want to listen. I got to pull up this conversation real quick because it's a really good one. But I am going to be doing some analysis, looking at all the MicroStrategy buy zones, trying to match that up with the time frame of when they did a convertible, or when they did ATMs, when they were diluting shareholder value. I'm trying to line all that up and see, and then look at that along with the TA, look at that with the RSI, the MACD, any other indicators that might be of value, to see if I can determine like the good, because I think MicroStrategy is actually a wicked arbitrage play. I really like it. I'll still be selling on the way up here because, again, I was buying in the 100 range, just like I bought in the 15s 2 years ago. So I will be selling on the way up when everybody else is getting all excited and talking about it. I mean, that's just the way I work. But I do want to understand, I think this is a great arb play. And what I mean by that is when it does go down, it goes down hard. And let me just show you. Oh, there's so much to talk about in this. I hope you guys get it all. So when it goes down hard. And what I mean by that is, what were we at? 200 over here, and then we got all the way down to 100. So we saw a 50% drop recently in MicroStrategy. It can do that again. And if you use that opportunity where we see something like this and it's just down like crazy, and then you buy into that with like some MSTU or MSTX, you can get, just getting back to its previous high, a quick 100% gain. So again, I think this is a great arb play. So I want to make sure that I understand all of that and study it closely. There's other stuff though. There's other stuff. I want to refresh this real quick because there's this one video I want you to hear from Michael Saylor. He was talking in a space. I think it was just yesterday. Before we get to that though, let me just put more perspective into it. So I showed the market cap. This is actually higher now for MicroStrategy. It's closer to probably 100 billion this morning, 95 at least. But just look at Mara, look at the rest of look at the miners, right? So again, it's definitely trading at a premium, and I would argue at a bull cycle, it definitely should, because the NAV is going to be less important. I think it can run up to a 5x NAV when you're looking at something like that. But still, no matter what, it's gotten really high. It's gotten really high. Mara's 6.4 billion. Again, this thing's almost 100. Riot's 4.1. CleanSpark is 3.6. So comparatively, 30 CleanSparks almost equals a MicroStrategy right now. Please unban me on X. Yeah, I could do that. Wolf is at 2.9. HUD is at 2.4. Cypher's at 2.3. Iron's at 1.9. Bit Farms is at 1 billion. And Bit Digital is at 0.6. So I do think there's some fair weighting here in regard to these. And with the law of large numbers, it's going to be a lot harder of a move for the $400 billion or over 1/3 of a $1 trillion market cap that I think we hit with MicroStrategy here soon. But it would be a lot easier for some of this money to flow over into an iron and make this thing 5x, and it would only be 10 billion again versus a $400 billion investment up here. So I think people need to realize when you see the rollover and you see money flow into these things, it will come. It always does. It works that way in every sector, in every industry, in every market I've ever looked at from an investment standpoint in over 25 years. So I want people to understand this. Let me unban E.B. Lacey real quick here. E.B. Lacey. Found you. All right, done. There you go. You're back. But yeah, so the thing I wanted to say, I wanted to kind of dash some people's dreams here because I want them to be realistic. I said, I hope everyone understands the law of large numbers. Yeah, okay. I said, here's the reality for this cycle. You missed 3,000% upside in MicroStrategy so far. Today, it's probably like 3,500, 4,000. All right. I go, this is the vast majority of the upside available towards this cycle. Again, if it's up almost 4,000 today, or let's say 3,500% today, which I think it could be, we'll look at that in a second. Then and it can go up 300% more. You've missed over 90% of the ride. Okay, over 90%. So just put things in perspective. You should have bought it 2.5 months ago, when you could have gotten an extra 300%. I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but that is what it is, okay? All right, real quickly, let me go down. I want to find more here. I got more to say. We already looked at that one. I said people, oh yeah, here too. So Predator, and somebody was shitting on him, Bitcoin Hodl, I think, said that, guys, this NAV premium is getting insane. And I think he's right, but I think during the bull market, it can get insane. I think that's okay. I said people can argue against MNAV pretty easy in the bull market, and it'll make sense because you can. And we're going to listen to Michael Saylor talk about why that makes sense in a second. But I go in the bear, this vehicle, and by vehicle I mean MicroStrategy, is going to get absolutely fucking crushed. How do I know this? That's exactly what happened last cycle. People think that this is like so much different. Yeah, people probably understand MicroStrategy a lot better because the narrative that or I should say this, the descriptor of what Michael Saylor says now versus what he said 4 years ago is just way better. He's got a much better messaging, much better data points behind it. It's all good, right? But this company now is in the top 100 companies. It's getting ready to pass Intel. It's getting ready to pass Intel. And I don't know. Let me see here. Everyone obsessing about 200% premium to NAV, but you seem to be missing the point. Even smart investors are underestimating. So yeah, I do agree. I followed Junk Bond Investor last night. I actually think he's right. I think this thing can still go higher. And I do think it's powerful. And I think it's going to be a vacuum that sucks in money for the Bitcoin ecosystem. The Bitcoin will not leave their treasury, which I fucking love. And then all it does is tighten supply, which will drive the price a lot higher. When it drives the price a lot higher, some of the biggest benefactors in that in the second half will be miners. How do I know this? That's what happened last time. In January of 2021, MicroStrategy topped out. CleanSpark didn't top out, and other miners didn't top out for 4 to 6 months after that. Remember that. They had much further to run. Max Kaiser, he's an OG. I think he bought Bitcoin in like the $10, $15 range. So I always like his perspective. He's a little crazy, but he's kind of awesome too. He says MicroStrategy uniquely appeals to 3 separate enormous markets: demand for fixed income, demand for volatility, and demand for Bitcoin. And that is really, really important. Oh, and here it is. Here's what we want. So this is hosted by Van Eck. You can see Jan Van Eck over here. You can see Michael Saylor. You can see others with Van Eck sitting in here as well. But Michael Saylor himself, the god of Bitcoin right now, only surpassed by Satoshi Nakamoto, will tell you why MicroStrategy is such a great investment. So we're going to listen to it, and I think he's spot on. Note, this does not apply in a bear market. In a bear market, this turns to shit real quick, and the narrative goes back to MNAB, I think, really, really fast. In a bear. In a bull, though, I think he's spot on. Let's listen.
Michael, there's a perception that your stock trades at a premium to the intrinsic value of Bitcoin that you hold in the core business. Is that your view? And if so, what explains it? Is that the Saylor premium?
No, that's only a perception of people that haven't been paying attention or don't really do any research. If you actually logged into our earnings call, or if anybody studied the company, that's kind of like saying there's a perception that Microsoft trades at a premium to its underlying assets. Well, yeah, it does. It trades 50. Don't really do any research.
Sorry. My bad for hitting that. Definitely pay attention to this part. So he's talking about valuations based on growth companies and how quickly they grow and what they're valued at. This is super important to pay attention to.
If you actually logged into our earnings call, or if anybody studied the company, that's kind of like saying there's a perception that Microsoft trades at a premium to its underlying assets. Well, yeah, it does. It trades.
No, Michael Saylor is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Michael Saylor used to make fun of Bitcoin all the time. He thought it was stupid. He told people that they were morons for buying these fake coins. And then one day he actually realized what Bitcoin was and completely changed and has been balls to the walls the entire time. Definitely not Satoshi Nakamoto. That's Hal Finney.
It's 50 times greater than its net tangible assets. So does Apple, so does Standard Oil, so does every operating company. So the myth, right, the misunderstanding here is people don't understand what our operating business is. Our operating business is a treasury operation that's securitizing Bitcoin. And the primary use that we offer to the marketplace is we offer high volatility, high leverage equity, like 2x Bitcoin in the equity, or 1.5x Bitcoin. And that's very valuable. If you're an options trader or you're an investor,
Yeah, so he's talking about exactly what I'm talking about. This is a great arbitrage play. This is a great way on swings to be able to capitalize and make very large amounts of money over short periods of time if you can identify tops and bottoms. It's a great play. He's 100% right.
You would rather have 1.5x or 2x leverage on the equity. And the way that we create that in a systemic fashion is we strip the risk, the performance, and the volatility off of Bitcoin, and we sell fixed income instruments to the fixed income market that can't buy Bitcoin and doesn't want the equity and doesn't want the volatility. So when we sell a convertible bond, at a premium. We might sell $1 billion bond, and we would probably capture 750 million or more in the arbitrage on the day we do the deal. And then if
This is just insane mechanics. He is such a brilliant guy, Michael Saylor. Such a smart dude.
we hold the bond 6 years and Bitcoin goes up 21% a year, we make $3 billion on the back end. So we generate $3.7 billion of shareholder gains by arbitraging the duration on cheap capital with the return on a crypto commodity. And
the smart thing is they extend out the debt far enough to address cycles in Bitcoin, like down troughs that could, happen over a couple of years, which usually do. So it's just a brilliant way. He's hedging risk while trying to get the highest multiple he can, and yield for the product. It's just brilliant. It's really brilliant. Michael Saylor's a very smart man. But the thing you need to realize is this unwinds in a bear market like a beast. And we're going to look at some charting in a little bit here to talk about that, but it unwinds like a maniac during the bear because the principles of what he's talking about get really skewed and broken.
the people that bought the bond can't buy Bitcoin. They're convertible arbitragers, or they're fixed income investors, or they're institutional investors, or they have capital tied up in a 401k retirement plan. So if you understand those things, you realize that, it's kind of like, and I use this analogy, Jan, it's like, if you looked at Standard Oil and you said, well, the company seems to be trading at a premium to the oil reserves. Well, no joke.
That's
because
it works.
The company has a refinery and it creates kerosene. You ever try to put crude oil in a rocket or crude oil in a...
This is the same thing with miners too, guys, of any kind. This is the thing that people are missing right now. As Microstrategy sucks up liquidity and locks it in. Not like ETFs. ETFs, it's still fluid, right? A lot of that's going to get locked in because ETF holders, a decent amount of them, aren't day traders or even swing traders like me. They just buy and hold for a very long period of time. So you get kind of a lock-in function with ETFs for sure. But with Saylor, you lock it in. You lock that Bitcoin in. And this man just bought 6 months of new daily supply. So MicroStrategy is doing God's work right now. If you're a Bitcoiner, he is doing what we want him to do. He is accumulating all of the Bitcoins. The more this thing goes up, the better. But what I'm recommending right now for myself, because I'm not a financial advisor, is I wouldn't chase it right now. I would have chased it at $100 when it dropped 50%, and I did. But I wouldn't do it right now when it's up, 300 plus percent. 350%, I think. 370 in 2.5 months. I wouldn't do it then, okay? That's not the time you jump into it, guys. That's emotion. That's not common sense in any way. But let's keep listening here. Again, I think what he's created is brilliant, and I think all it's going to do is help Bitcoin during this bull cycle. It's just going to make it scream higher. And that's probably why we're seeing Bitcoin 94K. Is that what we're saying right now? We're breaking out, guys. This is going to get sick. Let me raise this a little bit. We'll keep track of when we get to 95 because the numbers are going to come hot and heavy now, guys. They're going to get really weird. I hope you guys realize that. But let's listen. This is good. So the thing I hope I'm getting this across. You've got a lot more risk with MicroStrategy now. It could still go up a shit ton. It can go up 300% from here. It could be $400 to $500 billion. Can you imagine if this thing is $500 billion? It's going to pass so many companies. It's going to be one of the largest companies in the world. And I think that happens in the next year. 400, 500 billion. I think that happens in the next year. So that's all great. and it'll be that succubus that'll grab all the Bitcoin and that will help all of us get richer that are invested in Bitcoin. This is the thing that I'm hoping you understand in all the proxies. So be patient, but let's listen to the rest of what he has to say.
Jet or crude oil in your car or pour crude oil on a highway. The point is, you can't. You need asphalt, you need gasoline, you need kerosene, you're refining it. You can't do the refining without the reserves. So the Bitcoin reserves that we have a practical use. The use is they're collateralizing the fixed income instruments, and then they're creating volatility and performance for the equity instruments, which feed the option instruments, which create the volatility. And all of those things together mean that we're just kind of like we're like a transformer. You got 480 volt 3-phase power coming in one side of the property. And on the other side, you want to run your daughter's hair dryer or or your washer and dryer or your electric heater, or and
I think
stepping it down,
most 3-phase electricity will blow out the hair dryer, but I get your point. I think
I'm actually making the point that 3-phase power is what I use to run my 500-ton yacht.
So smart.
But there's a massive transformer that steps it down, from the street. And what Microstrategy is doing with its capital is it's transforming high voltage Bitcoin into low voltage securities. And so that to focus upon the premium is completely missing what's really going on here. And I'll give you one more number, which I think.
So I agree with him. In a bull market, to focus on the premium is to miss what's going on here. I agree with that. In a bear market, we'll see. We'll see what happens this next bear. We'll see. It could draw down real nice.
Is pretty important, which is, today, if you look at my tweet, I just noted we generated a yield of 41.8% this year, which is the equivalent of 79,130 BTC.
That's stupid.
That at 90,000 something a coin, that's $7.3 billion. And so if I didn't tell you what we did, and if I didn't tell you how much Bitcoin we have, and the only thing you knew about my company was we generated 7.3 billion in earnings delivered in Bitcoin, and we're growing more than 75% a year, how much do you think the company's worth?
A huge amount.
Tremendous amount.
Yeah,
I think that's a great.
So the point is, and then you would add in,
the
Bitcoin position. So
right.
really,
Right.
The people that are focused on the premium are ignoring the fact that that's a company generating billions and billions of dollars of shareholder value a year in hypergrowth mode.
Yes, and that works when Bitcoin's price is going up. So that number looks brilliant right now. It looks brilliant right now, but that will change in the next bear, just like it changed in the last one. And let's see. So we're done with him. Let's hop over here. So let's look at a few things here. So I want to give a better representation of price action with MicroStrategy over time. Okay. And yeah, so where are we at today, guys? Where are we at today? What are we up? 3,300% since, what is this? Let me clear this out. December of 2022. So if you bought this thing at the $15 range, or actually 13 and change, you made 3,300%. Now, I don't even think the 2X vehicles like MSTU and MSTX were available back then. But if you had options in that, I did. You made a lot of money. I sold out too quickly for mine. I think I was like over here. I sold out too quickly for my options, but it was a great ride. And then I bought stock again, and then I bought really heavy again down over here. And then I've enjoyed that ride yet again. When would I dial out of MSTR? But earlier. So let me show you guys some things. These are important things for you to understand. So let's look at the history of cycles, okay? So we're up here right now. Let's see what happened last cycle. So in the end of January, beginning of February, and people are like, oh, MicroStrategy, it's like never before. It's just going up like a rocket ship. It did that last cycle too, guys. Look at this. We went from, in February of 2020, March 2020, roughly, right after the pandemic announcement, we went from $8.85 up to $130 a share. So we definitely had a run last cycle too, okay, in this thing. But then, but here's the thing, it peaked like the beginning of February. However, if you look at CleanSpark, I don't even know if I can do this easily from here. Maybe. Let's just try it. I'll just do a comparison where it's a line. But if we look at CleanSpark around that same time frame, and let me just hone in here. Oh, is this going to give a good representation? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's not doing what I want it to do. Let me see here real quick. This is all. Let me kill this real fast. 1 second. All right. So again, February of 2021, we saw this thing peak. Let's pull up CleanSpark real quick too, and I'll look at comments. BTC 94,400 roughly right now. I've got it down at the bottom right of the screen in case you guys see that. So it's doing really good. We love that. Hey, CleanSpark's up 4% today. Nice. All right. So let's go over here real quick. Let's find previous cycles. Oh, this is muddy. So I'm just going to kill a few things for now to get back in here. Okay. So CleanSpark, here's where we are now. Let's see last cycle. Last cycle, where did we top out? We topped out in, I'm wrong. January of 2021. This thing peaked at the exact same time. Maybe it was a different miner. Let me check. Yeah, is that the peak? Well, I guess technically it still peaked. Yeah, no, February 2021. It's the exact same time. Yeah, my thesis is wrong here. Let me go over. 1 second. We're going to look at others. I might have been looking at a different miner. We'll check. We will figure this out in real time. Let me kill this too. What's Mara up? 4%. Nice. So it looks like miners are starting to catch up. Let's look over here. Last peak. Is this last peak? Okay. Yeah. Mara's an example. So CleanSpark wasn't a good example. It ran at the same pace as Microstrategy. That's fine. But here's what I want to show you. So when did Mara peak out last cycle? It peaked out in November of 2021. So again, this is making my point, and we can look at some other miners too. So you already made all your money off of like over here. Let's see. So in about this time frame, right over here. Yeah, right over here. This was the time frame that was the peak of MicroStrategy, and it never saw that level again. Whereas we saw a big trough, we dropped down a lot from here. And again, this I think was neutered because the Fed raising rates at the most aggressive rate in history. But we went from 50 all the way down to $18. That's just a huge trough. But this thing made another leg higher, and it went from 18 to 83. So you got a really nice return. Whereas if we look at MSTR over that time, what did MSTR do after February of 2021? It went from 132 all the way down in May of 2021 down to 40. And then it tried to go up a little bit. Couldn't even get like roughly to the halfway mark. It got to about the 60% level, and then rolled over again and dropped real hard. So you can see the crush, the absolute crush over here that happened with this investment. And let me turn off automatic here. Is this not on log? There we go. That's better. All right. So let me look over here. So again, this thing went from 136 in beginning of 2021, February 2021, to May of 2022 being at $13. So this thing dropped 90%. 90% in what was 15 months. 90%, 15 months. So, and again, it never got that peak that you saw in Mara. So my whole point that I'm trying to make here, and I guess CleanSpark wasn't applicable if I was looking at it right, but it is with Mara, and it was with other miners, Cores, Mara. There were a bunch of other miners that were much bigger back then, okay? So I don't know. I actually think, Paul says, I also peaks. Okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about an actual comment in regard to an investment. So I think MicroStrategy still rolls for a while. I actually think it can go all the way up to $1,500, which is a huge move from where it was at 13 technically, 1350 to 1,500 is a massive, massive, massive move. And that's what I think could happen this cycle. And that's like, what, 240% from where we're at? And maybe we get up to this long-term trend line over here. And if we do that, then I mean, those numbers are stupid. I don't know if we can get anybody who tells you that we're getting to 5,000 this cycle. If we get to 5,000 this cycle, Bitcoin's gotten to 500,000. That's all I have to say. All right, let's hop back over. I'll try and look at comments, but I do believe, again, I believe that
Michael,
the yield, the yield on MicroStrategy is huge. I believe that the growth strategy and the way he's talking about valuation could definitely be a thing, and the way that it's valued during the bull. But once it peaks, once people go, is the upside limited in this? Can I get more out of it? Then we'll see a major drop. And again, there's a reason why he's buying massive amounts of Bitcoin right now. He bought a half a year's supply just in the last 2 months. There's a reason for that. Well, I should say, what, less than a month. Less than a month. So again, just be cautious. Just be cautious. When you see the Reddit people giving up on their miners and getting excited, like or I should say this, in this one, this Redditor on Wall Street Bets, I hate the site so much. I hate anything where they can download independent thought. I think that's stupid. But it says, enough of this nonsense. When is MicroStrategy fucking crashing? And so they're just angry and upset because MicroStrategy isn't dropping and they're trying to short it. I think that's idiotic. I think this thing can still squeeze a lot higher. I think the short interest is still like 28% last I checked. So we could see, again, just this thing go up a lot. But as it goes up, realize you've missed the bulk of it. If you're jumping in now, you're jumping in for the last 10%, guys. It's not the 90%. The 90% already happened. So get over it. So is CleanSpark dead and we should rotate tomorrow? Why is CleanSpark dead? What did you get out of that? How does anybody get that? I don't know, man. Hey, Alejandro, please stay on topic. Dario, we go to take position MSRT or MSTU call option. I'm literally selling mine. You guys could do what you want to, though. If you're talking about getting a call option on MSTU, you're talking about putting theta decay on theta decay. So, I mean, you could do that, and you might make some good money over the short term. You could also get wrecked pretty good. But I hope what I'm voicing here is giving you guys some perspective on the fact that you shouldn't chase. Again, right now, MicroStrategy probably at $100 billion or close for its market cap. Can it go to 400? Yes, totally. But when this thing goes to 400 billion and it's peaked out, then you're gonna look at Iron at 2 billion. Well, let's say by then it's like 5 or 6, and it's gonna look pretty cheap compared to 400 billion. And you have to realize that when the price screams higher, yeah, I know Saylor won't stop buying. Okay. When the price of Bitcoin screams higher because Michael Saylor has been buying up all the Bitcoin and will never sell them again, you're going to see that all of these are benefactors of that. And when Bitcoin's at 150, 180K, these guys will scream higher because their multiples on their returns and their earnings will look really, really attractive, and they'll look incredibly undervalued. That's what I'm trying to teach you. And for something that's 1 billion to go up is a lot easier than something that's 100 times its size. I hope you understand that. Pricing of convertible senior notes offering. I'm sorry, is this a new note on MicroStrategy right now? Is this a new one? Sir, please don't forget CCG later. I will try not to. All right, let me look. MicroStrategy. Do we have more news this morning? I mean, it would behoove him to. Another bad day to be an MSTR bear. Yeah, it is. Wall Street Bets retards just bought more MSTR puts. Yeah, so this is how we got the blow off top in MicroStrategy last cycle. It's this right here. It's feeding off of the shorts. As long as they're stupid enough to keep doing this, this thing will go higher. And again, that's how we got this wicked. If you look at the daily on this, especially, let me see if I can go back to that time frame. The daily is just ridiculous. What did we get on the daily back then in 2021? So first off, we gapped from 80 in a day all the way up to 105. Then we went from 105 the next day up to 131. So in 2 days, we went from 80 to $131 a share. So as long as the morons at Wall Street Bet are willing to do this stupid shit, this thing will go up. And now everybody's excited about it. Sorry, folks, scratch that. MicroStrategy has raised the convertible note from 1.75 to 2.6. Ah, okay, cool. I mean, that's not surprising. That's what Saylor does. If they can get more people to buy and they're oversubscribed, they'll take all the money they can get. It's cheap money, goes out years, allows them to buy more Bitcoin. Not surprising at all. And this will probably just send the price higher. Let's look at stuff today. Let's get back at. So that was a big, long MicroStrategy thing. Let's get out of that. Hey, Jesse, what are your thoughts on SQ lately? Do you think? I think it's getting ready to break out. My buddy Jake just had a really good post on that, and we covered the stock a little bit yesterday. Here, look up Jake. He's great. You should follow him. He's well worth the membership. I think he's the second most subscribed membership on X outside of Elon Musk. He's my buddy. He lives in Colorado and Denver. He's good shit. I'm supposed to be going on a space with him sometime, but I keep on rejecting him because I don't want to do it. I already feel like I've grown too large. He talks about Chinese shit. So just if Jake talks about this, just realize he's retarded on China, and ignore that. But he's great. He's a great chartist though. He's showing how NVIDIA is peaking out. He's not always right, but he's great with charts. Ignore JD, ignore Baidu, ignore all this bullshit. Don't pay attention to AMC. Oh, fuck, Jake, come on, bro. But again, he's really great on other stuff. He's indicating a bounce on PayPal too. I think that's probably right. But let me look. I'll just show you Square. I'll show you my version of Square. And his chart looks great too. 1 second here. 1 second. Sorry, saying goodbye to my daughter. All right, so yeah, here's what I love about Square right now. First off, inverse head and shoulders, big one, going back to 2022, early 2022. So this thing is what? 2.5 years of an inverse head and shoulders. We're in the breakout zone. The measured move for this gets us all the way up to 200. So do I think this is interesting? Yes. I mean, I think this thing can double. And if you have some kind of leverage, I haven't looked at options with it, I think it can do really well. So I don't hate this. I don't hate this. It's not horrible at all. So I'm actually thinking they're going to do really good. Let's look over here, though. How are we doing today? So all the Chinese shit, doing horrible. Love that. That's what we want to see. Tesla up 2.14. Oh, wait. No, this must have been yesterday. Let's go to pre-market. There we go. Tesla down 0.31% or 0.27. NVIDIA up. NVIDIA, I don't know what to think of the earnings. I actually think they're going to do pretty good, but they have some heating issues with Blackwell. What does that look like in the end? I don't know. Looks like Palantir's down 0.6%. It's just been a juggernaut still. I do expect to see it top out. I wouldn't short it. I don't even know that I'd do a covered call if you own a bunch, because you're just not sure where it's going to go. Yeah, Mara up 5%. I think MicroStrategy is still outperforming though. But yeah, Mara's up 5%. I think CleanSpark was up 5%. Was it CleanSpark that was up? Let's see here. MSTR up 8%, still outperforming. Mara up almost 5%. And then I think CleanSpark is up a decent amount too. Let's actually do this. Let's go over and look at miners real quick. Oh, no, I can't do it here, can I? I have to do it over here in extended hours trading. All right, let's look over here. So yeah, let's see. Let's sort them. So MicroStrategy, obviously the winner. MSTU right now up 15 to 16%. So I'm loving that. Probably going to sell more of that today. Mara up almost 5. CleanSpark up almost 5. Wolf up 4.34. Iron up 4. I'm starting to see miners get a bid. And over here on Mara, we're above the 200 weekly moving average finally, and looking to try and maintain that. I could see miners really starting to benefit as we're looking right now. Bitcoin is over 94,500. I wouldn't be surprised to see 95K today, maybe through some miracle. If we don't have any economic data. If we get great earnings this afternoon from NVIDIA, and we'd need it, we'd need great earnings, and NVIDIA is going up, I'd be surprised if Bitcoin doesn't start screaming to 100,000. Now, we do have economic data tomorrow. Again, we didn't get much today, just mortgage data. The mortgage rate for the 30-year went up 0.04%. It's basically topping out. Mortgage applications were slightly better than previous. Mortgage market index inched up. I mean, the mortgage market is weak, and it's going to continue to be that way. But tomorrow we get tons of data. We get PPI out of Canada. We get initial jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, all the jobless related stuff, all the Philly Fed, like, business conditions, CapEx, employment, new orders, prices paid. We get consumer confidence out of Argentina. That'll be fun. Existing home sales in the U.S., Kansas Fed, composite, manufacturing, all that stuff. So we have a decent amount of data coming tomorrow. And then again, all the big stuff. Friday, let's see what we have Friday. GDP growth rate, economic activity. Mexico. U.S. S&P Global Composite PMI, manufacturing services, 5-year inflation expectations. I don't know. This week isn't anything too crazy. Again, it's going to be more like what's happening around the world with our friends. Are they seeing inflation-related concerns? Are they slowing down? There's a lot of things that can happen that'll move markets. I think NVIDIA is going to be the biggest in my mind. Miyagi-Do Trading says, anyone starting to take options on small cap leverage ETFs? I've got something on DLO. It's Latin-based. I think that one could do all right. I haven't been looking at it in other stuff, though. Hey, Jesse, saw your last iron purchase. Why you didn't gain your Bitfarms instead? I bought a ton of Bitfarms. I bought Bitfarms like the day before. So I'm just adding to the things I already own. Let me show you here real quick. So yeah, I have tons of Bitfarms. I have a shit ton of Bitfarms. I have 110,000 shares, $250,000 in Bitfarms just here. And then I have other accounts too. So I have like 300,000 in Bitfarms. That feels like a pretty good number. I have I only have 40,000 here, but I probably have at least 200,000 in iron, maybe $250,000 in iron. I've got well over $500,000 just here in CleanSpark and options, so that's pretty heavy. I've got Mara. I've got 256,000 here. MSTU, I only have 126,000, but I have over $250,000. I think it's close to 300,000. I got to check between Microstrategy investments, and then I have I have a bunch of other stuff too. But yeah, so I have a lot between Microstrategy, Mara, CleanSpark, Bitfarms, and I have an iron, and then I have some Cypher too. No, I do. I post everything, dude. It's on there. It just might not be in the last day or something, okay? But it's there. Jesus Christ. Let me go back here. When did I buy Bitfarms? Was it last week? I don't know. Just look at the trades. Look at the trades. Was it over here? Yeah, Bitfarms. 12,000 shares in Discord. Does that count? And then and there's more down here. 15,000 shares. Does that count? 8,000 shares. Does that count? So that was, I don't know what day. What is this? November 13th, 14th, or whatever that day was. So it was a week ago. I'm sorry. Anyway. But yeah, I own a lot. This is just my main account, and I've got shit tons of this stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, last week I bought 30,000 or something shares of it. I feel like I did pretty good. Anyway, all right, let's move on. What else we got to talk about here? So again, fear and greed, looking beautiful. Where is that? Where is my fear and greed? Oh, I've got it way over here. I got to move it back over. So on the crypto front, fear and greed looking extended, looking maybe a little dangerous. But on the stock market, we're still sitting at neutral, which is insane because I made $250,000 yesterday. Can I look at the Hood chart? Yeah, I can look at Hood. I like Hood too. I got over $250,000 in options in Hood. And their news just keeps getting better and better and better. And I don't know if you know this, the Dumb Money podcast, Chris Camello, I really like him. I didn't listen to him much before, but I was kind of saying, hey, I think I've outperformed him in the last several years, and I have. But he has a much bigger pool of capital. I don't know if he's at 50 or 100 million now. He's somewhere around there, but he's done really, really well, and I love his social investing strategy. Anyway, he was talking about in a video yesterday about how some of his favorite plays right now are Tesla and Hood because of deregulation and aggressiveness. And I I kind of agree. I hadn't really thought about Hood. Tesla, obviously, deregulation will help them, and they're just getting ready to explode. But I mean, if you think about it, Hood keeps adding new products every week, all around the world. They're trying to get into all these different markets. One of my biggest complaints was that you couldn't buy Solana on it. Now you can. So I think we've got a quick trip to $43 on Hood. That's where we start so really we're starting to hit that resistance, but we really hit it up here around 40. So 40 to 43, something like, or 44. That's when we hit that next fib level. But I wouldn't be surprised this cycle if Hood goes up to 90. I just really think it's great. Grab, good financial position. Yeah, that one's out in Southeast Asia, right? That's the one everybody loves in Southeast Asia. I struggle with stuff like that because I just don't know. Oh, what's Hood up? 5% in pre-market? I mean, that's not surprising, I don't think. Yeah, cool, man. So that's great. So I'll make a bunch of money off those options too. That'll be a double-digit day because, again, Hood, I'm up 1,000% on these, and then I'm up 340% on these. I put in 58,000 in capital. I'm sorry, 59,000 in capital, and I've got 262. So Hood's, and this is on the latest round. I've done this a few times. NNDM, more info in Discord. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can look at some of that. Chris Patel just grabbed Grab. I guess he bought Mara too, right? He bought Mara. Maybe he's starting to follow my lead a little bit since I kicked his ass on that election bet a while back. Yeah. Bitcoin looks good, man. We got it in the bottom right corner. Today's going to be a good day, guys. Let's look at stocks. You guys want to look at stocks. I know that. You're getting excited. Let's look at some stocks. What are we going to look at? Starting from here. And what was this? Lior posted this. What is this? Oh, that must have been that post from Amit, right? Or from Saylor that Amit was referencing. Yeah, okay, cool. The pricing might be interesting. Let me check this out. Oh, I hate that shit. So small. I wish I could have the AI scan this for like interesting details. All right, previously announced a 1.75 billion offering, so that's where the 1.75 billion is, and then they switched it. Our first up to an additional 400 million aggregate principal amount of the notes. Their offering was upsized from the previously announced amount. The notes will be unsecured. I love that. This is why Michael Saylor is just so amazing. The notes are unsecured, which means they're not tied to the company. So if for some reason he has to default on it, they're entitled to nothing with the company. Absolute absurdity. I'll read this later, though. There's probably a lot in here. Let's look at stock-related stuff, though. I think a lot of people probably are. I'm not, Kevin. Jesse, I love your work. Sorry, losing my voice. Man says, Jesse, I love your work. So much to learn from you. Could you suggest some good books on macroeconomics or other? The one I always refer people to from the beginning is just understanding the concept of money. So the Bitcoin Standard from Saifedean Ammous is a must read. There's other great ones too. The Price of Tomorrow, if you want to understand how technology lowers the price of goods. There's just a slew. There's Capital Wars. If you want to understand more about macroeconomics and global liquidity, Michael Howell wrote this one a long time ago. But his indicators on a Substack reference like 91 different economies, economic metrics around the world to figure out what's happening with global liquidity. Unbroken Money from Lynn Alden. I love her. I think she's got a lot to add, even though her thoughts on commodities has been really off. And there's just a bunch more. There's so many good. Software is great if you want to understand why Bitcoin might change the world and lower the risks of kinetic war, and change it to a digital front. Like, that's kind of fascinating. There's just a lot of really good stuff you could read, man. Did I ever collect? I told him not to worry about it. Value. I don't care about the money. I didn't even initiate the bet. I certainly didn't care about the $500 or whatever it was. But I do reserve the right to rub into Chris's face in the future the fact that I was so fucking right about the election. So that's still there. J.E. Johnson, what are your thoughts on Rum? The owner is talking about buying Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Let's talk about that real quick, too. So the owner of Rumble is having conversations with Michael Saylor about buying Bitcoin. Please take a look at CCG. I will. And you did that yesterday, too. So that will be the first on the list when I start looking at the stocks. But I do want to talk about Rumble real quick. So there's just a lot of really crazy stuff going on in the Bitcoin world right now, guys. Let me hop over. I think I have this one over here. Maybe I have it under MSTR. I don't know. But yesterday, again, we had ETF options trading on day one. And Eric Balkunis, this is a guy that works with Bloomberg as a senior ETF analyst. He knows everything about ETFs. He said that the volumes that we're seeing right now make him think that the price could double in the next month. What? All right, let's keep going. So again, Bitcoin ETFs. Oh, this was just Stock Trader Max talking about how there's this huge cup and handle on CleanSpark. I agree with that. Bitcoin surpassed the Great British Pound to become the 5th largest currency in the world. Whatever. Crazy. Max Kaiser, Bitcoin market makers are doing a good job keeping prices orderly, but soon their order books will get absolutely swamped with buys, and we got a $100,000 God candle. I agree with that. Bitcoin miner reserves have hit new yearly lows, so the miners don't have a lot of Bitcoin either. There's so much good stuff. Michael Saylor saying that Satoshi is the equivalent of Prometheus. He gave us fire. Satoshi gave us money. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, but I don't disagree with it. Metaplanet, their treasury, they've been buying a bunch of Bitcoin too. Their treasury is now 7x larger than the market cap of the entire company in April. That's fascinating. This is tons of companies are getting ready to buy this stuff, guys. Tons of companies. BGZ, thank you for upgrading to a whale membership, dude. I really appreciate you, sir. You contribute a lot, and I really appreciate you. Mike Novogratz. So let's just listen to him. Mike is such a good. Mike is trying to look like Mark Cuban, I guess. They're both like, it's a liberal thing. Don't ask me, but let's listen. Mike is, outside of Luna tattoos, Mike is a pretty decent guy. But let's listen to what he has to say real quickly about Bitcoin.
Again, it's a whole different paradigm because it forces every other country in. Countries are already buying it. I've got a dear friend, the guy that actually turned me on to Bitcoin in 2013, who's in the Mideast right now, and he said he's never seen anything like it. He's convincing more people to buy Bitcoin in the 3 days he's been there than any time in his whole career. And they're huge pools of capital. And so we're seeing something globally. When Trump advocated in Nashville that he was going to be a crypto president, a Bitcoin president, and now he's the president, let me tell you, other leaders heard that. And so I think we're strapping in for what could be an amazing rally.
And this is coming from a pretty staunch liberal who looks like Rachel Maddow and Mark Cuban. So, I mean, when you hear that kind of stuff from him, it's legit. Also, let's see here. Often92, did you see Michael Saylor's reaction to Scottie Pippen saying he knows Satoshi? And I think he said he met him in 1993 or something. Yeah, that was funny as shit. Rumi said, Jesse, did you see that Kevin bought back Tesla? Hilarious and disgusting. Yeah, I heard about that. He's just a follower, but whatever. Hopefully he'll start following this channel and send all of his subscribers over here. Joe Consorti, again, so this is a breakdown of the IBIT options day one so far. It says the December 2024 expiry is seeing the highest volume in 65 strike calls, with IBIT trading at 52.76, going to 65, reflects a spot Bitcoin price of 114,339. And this is for December expiration. So we got a lot of people that think that we're making it to 115,000 by the end of the year. And again, if you don't think Bitcoin's becoming popular, just look at Chinese television.
特币价格飙升至历史新高。 数据显示，按市值计算的全球最大加密货币比特币，在6号盘中交易价格一度达到$75,000，再创历史新高，涨幅超8%。据多家媒体报道，特朗普此前曾承诺要让美国成为世界比特币和加密货币之都，并建立战略性比特币储备。当天，比特币
So they're literally talking about how Trump is creating a strategic reserve. So China's interested, right? Jack Dorsey, what does Dorsey have to say here? He said Bitcoin will unite and deeply divided country and eventually the world. I agree with that. Bitcoin news, a man with hundreds, I mean, other things will too, but yes. A man with hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin exposure has been nominated as the Commerce Secretary. This is Howard Lutnick. He's the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. I actually wanted him to be the Treasury Secretary. I'm a little disappointed. But this is a good role too. And again, virtually everybody on Trump's cabinet and his appointments are huge Bitcoin advocates. So if you can't see the writing on the wall, I mean, even Mike Novogratz gets it. I don't know if he'll get a tattoo about it, but he gets it. Bitcoin Archive said just in, Bitcoin is now worth more than JP Morgan, Visa, and MasterCard combined. Maybe some signal there. I don't know. Oh, this is interesting. So this is this Van Eck again? Van Eck is bullish as fuck. They're going balls deep on MSTR and Bitcoin right now. But let's listen to what they have to say. It's good stuff, guys. It's real good stuff. Let me move this a little bit.
We have a model that assumes that by 2050, this is very long term, that Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset that's used in global trade and held by global central banks at a very modest 2% weight. And in that model, we arrive at a $3 million price target for Bitcoin.
And again, they're sandbagging. So to be clear, by 2040, I think it's more likely that we're at 13 million for Bitcoin. This is just sandbagging.
Now, that sounds, extreme, but that's a 16% compound annual growth rate for a couple decades. That's not really that extreme. So into the millions over the medium term is a high conviction call. We have...
Yeah. So I agree with him. I just think he's lowballing. And then we got Grayscale Bitcoin ETF options that started trading tomorrow, it said. That was 16 hours ago. So today we got more options coming in. Public listed LQR House to buy up to 1 million worth of Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. I mean, everybody's doing this, guys. And then again, you got Michael Saylor saying, should Rumble add Bitcoin to its balance sheet? So look at the response that the CEO of Rumble got. 42,000 votes almost, and it's 94% of them are saying, yes, do it. And, yeah, it's insane. And everybody's getting on board. Again, if you guys haven't, follow Ben Workman. I really like his work. Natalie Brunell, also an amazing person. But, and then they were exchanging DM information between Saylor and the CEO of Rumble. So there's some signal there, guys. Let me go back. I think I might have had one MSTR thing to still talk about. But you guys just have to realize, did you see SoFi? Is SoFi up a lot today too? That's awesome. I'll check it in a second. Let me just scroll down. I think I have even more MSTR news. There's so much good stuff, guys. I mean, MSTR is beating NVIDIA by 2x this year. Everybody's like talking about NVIDIA, but look at MSTR, and it's just getting started. Let me see. Was there anything else? This is a good post too. Plan C likes to talk about. He's not a stock to flow guy. That's why he named himself Plan C. So he's given up on that. He does believe in power law, and he believes in an accelerating version that actually does better than power law. I think his analysis is really interesting. Maybe that's probably the bulk of it. Again, guys, we're pushing towards 95,000 right now. If you can't see the writing on the fucking wall, I can't help you. I literally can't help you. If you can't understand what's going on right now with Bitcoin and how it's getting ready to just explode higher, I cannot help you. As MicroStrategy's up almost 8% on the day, as Mara's up 5.5%. Let's just look here. CleanSpark up 5.1%. The miners are going to start catching up, guys. And they're going to catch up about the time you put all your money into MicroStrategy. And then they'll outperform. It's just how it works. It's a great time to be invested. Yesterday was a boring ass day, and I'm like, the wife's like, "What happened today?" And I was like, "I made $250,000. You know, market's neutral." But I don't think people realize how much Bitcoin can go up right now. Traditional stock market, maybe we're getting peaky with some, but again, let's switch real quick here because we have about 35 minutes until open, and I'll start getting into the stock review here too. But let's switch real quickly to everything and just look at how we're sitting. Again, Hood up 5%. People were talking about SoFi. SoFi up 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cypher, Riot, Bitfarms. So it's all Bitcoin related investments that are doing well today. And Hood, right? They're all at the top of the list, guys. We don't even start down here until we get to SoFi at 2.84. So I can definitely see, and this is why I was selling a little more Tesla recently this last week and the previous week, because I wanted to rotate more into miners and more into Bitcoin investments. But I can definitely see these going higher. TLT's down again today. Again, just hanging out. I think the bond market hangs out low, giving us tons of time to be able to buy it later. ARGT's up a little bit today. I bought like 50,000 plus in that yesterday. I don't know. I'll use it as a source of funds if I need to buy stuff, but I really like my position there. New portfolio all-time high. Thanks, Jesse. You're welcome, Dylan. Congrats, dude. You got a couple Dylans. Dylan Hastings, what do you think about CleanSpark January 2026? I don't like 2026, bro. I've said this before, but I think you're too far out. You're placing a bet that CleanSpark will hit its all-time high way after when it normally does. So I would not, with options for miners, guys, I wouldn't go past June or July. I just wouldn't do it. I love the leaps, but I wouldn't go past June or July because you're placing a bet on something that's never happened before, and smart money will not be your exit liquidity. I can tell you that. So I don't love it. All right, let's look at stocks. We got a bunch of stuff. People were asking for stuff. What was the one? The one. CCJ. My bad. Okay, let's pull this up real quick. I'm gonna pull up the financials first because I like to, with new things, I like to see that first. It looks like they're talking about the National Hockey League on CNBC, so we're not missing too much there. We got Cameo Corp. Let's see what we got here. Cameo or Cameco? Cameco. All right, let's look. So guiding higher for revenue. EPS looks great. We're seeing institutional ownership grow. Short interest is not bad, like 4%. Operating leverage isn't horrible. You're seeing a tick up in revenues. I mean, the trend is this way, and yet we're kind of flatlined, barely increasing on expenses. I don't hate that. Stock-based comp, 0.25%, so it's a really low number and consequential. Revenue growth is 25% year over year. The only thing I don't love, forward PE is 55. That's a little high. But the current is 300, so the rate of growth is definitely, you'll get there. You know what I mean? You'll get there pretty quick as far as valuation. I don't love the debt and the lack of cash. Not sure what's going on with share dilution, but they're having to dilute, it looks like, a little bit to cover everything. It's in the uranium industry. Okay, interesting. I wonder what they do. What do they do? I should add this. I'll add this one. I'll add this to the Discord, guys, so that you guys can fill this out with some detail. But I mean, it's not. I like the fact. That you've got a decent clip of growth. I don't know how long uranium will be the narrative, but this doesn't appear to be overextended, and you actually have growing revenues and a uranium company. That's pretty unique. So I don't hate it. This would be an interesting one. Let's go over here real quick. We'll do this and just take a look. How we doing on Bitcoin? 94.5. Nice. All right, so let's see. I'm probably going to have to, I'll save this one. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy. And CCJ. And yeah, we'll get this one loaded in the Discord today, guys, so that you guys can fill this in with details and information about the company. Looks like it's had a pretty good run, so it's already done really well off the narrative, right? This would have been, if you would have brought this to me March of 2020, that was a long time ago. That's not fair. But it is up 10x since March of 2020. That's a nice little bout. And it was down to 35 not too long ago. What was that, September, August? Almost, yeah, September. That's not bad. So it's had a nice little run over the short term. Let's see, let's draw some, where should we draw this? This is a little tough. I'm trying to look here. I'll probably do longer themes. I'm probably going to do a longer theme because this thing just is continuing to go up. It doesn't really have clean lines. So we're going to go back to the .com bubble. Oh, wait, real quick here. I just want to see what it looks like. We're going to go from the .com bubble and do a trend-based fib extension. There's probably a more defined, shorter-term strategy I can use for this, and I will do that when I find it. But for now, this is interesting. And then we'll go down to March of 2020. Okay, so you can see where it really grinded around that .618, but launched really quickly. Just couldn't get back down to this next fib. So now, really, it's just about a race to $81, $82 a share. And again, it could maybe hit that. If the market continues to be bullish, if there's a strong narrative behind nuclear, why wouldn't this happen? Interesting. Definitely interesting. I'll try and get that one added today. I'll try and do that with all these two guys. I'm trying to get where if I pull them up, I add them, just to get better. All right. NMDM. Please info in Discord. Yeah. Let's look at this, and then we'll jump over to Discord and take a look too. And thank you for putting it in Discord. That just makes it easier. All right, Nano Dimensions. What are you? You are computer hardware out of Ness Ziona. Is that Illinois, or is this a country? Illinois. You don't have debt. You've got some decent amount of bonds, half a billion dollars in bonds. You got some revenue. What do you know? Yeah, I'll have to look. Q4 2023 was weird. Let's look at estimates. So revenue continues to go up. EPS is supposed to be really positive. That's good. If this thing's getting ready to flip, that's very interesting. Thank you so much, God bless. Yeah, you're welcome, Monkey Boy. You're welcome. Thank you for the tips. Appreciate them. So we're seeing institutional ownership growth. We're not seeing any insider activity. We're seeing short interest isn't crazy at 7%. What's this market cap? 400. Why is the enterprise value? Is this number broken, Alejandro? I feel like the enterprise value cannot be that negative. The market cap is 458 billion, or I'm sorry, million. My bad. So $500 million. So not a huge number, not a huge cap. Stock price, it looks like, has been beat up a decent amount. If we just glance over here, it's been grinding down for, oh, geez, wow. So 2021, this thing was up to $16. Now it's at $2. Fascinating. So what happened? November 20th, the best third quarter in the company's history. All right, let's look over here. NNDM. Let me just search. I'm going to search, guys. If you're looking for stuff, do it up here in the channel, because then you can find the channel really quickly and you don't have to like be all over the place. And then I think, can I expand it? If I click on something in here, how do I expand it? If I just click, okay, yeah, that's not bad. All right, okie dokie. Oh wow, you've been loading up a bunch. All right, let me see. Is there a particular post you want to point me to? It's an Israeli company. Ooh, I like that already, because their market and their growth has actually been looking really good. The Jacobian Ghost. Anyone know if this chart is a descending triangle or something like a double bottom or something else? We'll look at that in a second. Micro to macro. Would you mind updating the chart for additional details? Yes, I will. All right, so I do have a chart, so let's pull it up. Let me look up here. Here we go. Holdings for print. ARK funds. So this one's in ARK. Oh, it's in PRNT. Interesting. If you add up those two percentages, since NNDM bought DM, then you'll notice that it'll be the top holding in print. So about 4% of DM or about 4% of NNDM adding up to 8%. The top holding right now is 5%, therefore it's the top holding. Okay, that's interesting too. Global Newswire. All right, what are the highlights in this one? I'll start pulling up. It's interesting. This is interesting, so we're going to look it up. Let me save that one. I'm going to share and then we'll copy the link later. But let me pull up NNDM. Let me kill this other one. That is from 4/4 of 24. Hopefully that is the right one. If the chart disappears, guys, and in the Discord, I'll update it. Holy shit. Yeah, so this thing hasn't even started to take off. That's fascinating. Boy. And yet, you do kind of have a trend higher here. So if we look really going all the way back to here, April of 2018. Let me move some of this over. We got this bullish divergence, really, right? Like, it's just like higher, 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 higher. That's not higher, but higher, higher. So really, I mean, like, there's definitely some stuff since this has plummeted that's trying to draw it higher. The real question is just, when does the narrative change? And I think, I don't know, I think if the war especially between Hamas and Israel starts to die down, you could really see a narrative coming for Israeli stocks. So Leaps might be interesting in this. I'll try and look and see what they have for Leaps. I'm probably not going to do it right now, but I am interested in this play. Yeah, 20-year bond auction today. Will it have an impact on TLT? I mean, probably. It'll be very interesting to see. We don't get 20-year bond auctions every day. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Dylan Hastings. Tom Lee seems positive about Def TF. Any thoughts? What's Def TF? Is that a company? Is that an actual company? Or is it like a fund? It sounds like a fund, but let me see. Def TF. In case you guys don't know, Target just got butchered today. Yeah, what's Def TF? Let me, real quickly, I want to pull up Target. I want to see what they look like today. Let me check pre-market too. So we still have 23 minutes, guys. Microstrategy still looking great. Hood looking good. Mara, Clean Spark. Looks like we're coming back down just a hair, but still everything looks pretty strong. Looks like a pretty decent day all in all so far. Tesla down 0.26%. Palantir down 0.75%. I don't know, though. I think it looks bouncy. All right, so let's jump over, and I want to look at Target real quick because Target just got absolutely butchered. But yeah, NDM or NNDM, Nano Dimension, looks interesting, dude. It really does. I need to understand the fundamentals of that company better. I'll try and spend some time in there. Just got so much going on lately. So Target down 16.3%, guys, in pre-market. So in case you ever wonder, so it's right underneath peak volumes, or at least under that shorter time frame. That is a real bummer for Target. A real bummer for Target. So Target looked like it had a nice setup for an inverse head and shoulders higher, but now the price is way down here. So basically invalidating that head and shoulders. So it could just be more pain for longer for Target. You know what they say, go woke, go broke. That's probably what happened to these guys. Down 51.63% from their high. I mean, still off the 102 low, but absolute pain for people that are trying to buy some kind of like decent retail value play. Micro, buy Mara Leaps. I mean, that is an interesting question. That if there's anything I'd be interested to see what they look like. Let's just do that. Let's do that thought experiment for a second real quick here. Just because I haven't really even looked. I haven't looked. And, I mean, yesterday or the day before yesterday would have been the best time to buy Mara Leaps, just to be clear. Down here, always good. Let me just update a few things while I'm here, just to where the Discord has a better chart. All right. Get in here. Okay, so that's fixed. So I still think Mara, this cycle, can go up to here. But the thing is, you don't want to bet on that between now and like June or July, which is probably the only time frame we want to look at. So really what we're thinking is 45. 45 is probably like the key. And if we go back over here, again, lots of dilution on this. One has to consider that. So the price is technically getting lower over time. And the high last time was close to 90, but I want to be conservative. I want to stick in like the 47.50 range. Jaha says, I'm up 60% on Tesla. Would you suggest to sell a bit and buy some CleanSpark? I mean, it depends on you. I've been doing that, but I also have still over 80+% of my Tesla position. So just keep that in mind. I've sold some, but I still have a lot. All right, so Mara, let's say 45.50 is possible. Let's look at the options contracts for it. Where is my options profit calculator? I don't even see it, so we'll just add it. Options profit. Oh, there we go. And we'll pull up Mara, and we'll look. I don't know if they're June or July, but we'll just go out there. Oh, they don't have any. Oh, no, wait. No, they don't. Oh, no, they do. June 2025. Okay, so June 2025. September? Probably too late. I don't want to fuck with September. All right, so let's fuck with this. You can only get to 38. You can only get to 38. That's fascinating. Let's turn this into a real number. What is that? That's too low. I want to be like more of an interesting play here. Or let's do a, not a starter pack, but like a decent size. So $100,000 worth. And let's say that we can get 245, because I think we easily can between now and June. Wow. Let's see here. So what does it look like if we get into the 40s like I think we can? This isn't horrible. This is like a 200% additional move. So if we say that Mara goes up 100%, this thing can go up 300%. So not horrible. I don't know if today will be the best day to buy this, but it's not bad at all. If you wanted to get a little riskier and get a potential higher return, just remember, if it doesn't hit the price target and you don't get out at the right time, it all goes away in June. So options are dangerous as fuck. But I don't know. I find it interesting. I think the chance of doubling for Mara between now and June to be very, very high. Very, very high. So this is probably something I'm going to take a look at. For sure. Mara, I'm up. Okay. Got to go to 37. Good morning, Jesse. What's up, Marty? Let me see. They raised $1.4 billion in cash equity in 2021 at the peak. Who is that? Oh, Microstrategy, probably. Well capitalized. Yeah, that's probably right. And right now, that's just like a normal day for Microstrategy. They're doing like 2.6 billion. If that's the one you're talking about. Oh, maybe you're talking about one of these others. Let me know which one you're talking about. I can't tell. To activate chat, enable. What is going on? Oh, I want to get out of that. Don't want to be in that. Huh. I don't know. I think my chat broke in Restream. Whatever. I'm just going to close it and reopen it. So we have 16 minutes till bell. 16 minutes. And we're still kind of meandering and hanging out right now for Bitcoin. I think, I don't know what happens today with the markets. I'm trying to think about that. We are, technically overextended for a lot of stuff, but we also have so many fundamentally bullish things happening behind the scenes that I'm just not sure I can be bearish in. And again, in the stock market, at least on here, we're sitting at neutral. And what does this look like? So we have market momentum is in greed territory. We've just been going up for a while. Okay. Stock price strength, though, is an extreme fear. And what does this say? It's useful to look at, which one is this? And this could just be from some bigger ones bringing it down. Stock price breadth is an extreme fear, which means it's probably the big dogs that are actually doing all right. Put call ratios indicate fear. And market volatility is neutral. Safe haven demand is in greed area. Junk bonds are in extreme greed. Yeah, so this is a pretty decent looking market in my opinion, where we could still go higher. Could we have a pause here soon? Seasonality tells us no, guys. Seasonality for Bitcoin screams, can we enter Mara now? What do you mean now? Sure, why not? Yeah, go ahead. Good morning, Jesse. Mara and CleanSpark are next. I agree. When do we buy MSTZ? What is MSTZ again? Is this a 3x play or something? Is this just even crazier? Let me see here. I don't have that one. I'll just put it in here for the heck of it. Trust. It's a 2x inverse. Oh, an inverse play? A great way to lose money. I wouldn't do this for a long time. I wouldn't even think about doing this anytime soon. I mean, look at how much money's been lost. A lot. Let's see here. What's the loss since this thing opened? How much money have people lost? A lot. 97% of your money is gone. More than that. Gonna be making money today. Calls are about to print. Not to be confused with the fund from Art called print. Oh, NNMD was $1.4 billion cash raise. That was probably a really smart time to do that. And then they tanked after, huh? Have you ever analyzed TKO? No, I don't think so. When yacht party hosted by Jesse? I don't know. I'm probably not going to have a yacht anytime soon. Don't really care. Paw Mark, I guess Target will put all their woke Christmas ornaments on clearance now. Yeah, if you want woke Christmas ornaments, you got to get an opportunity, guys. Keith McLean, Jesse, with all the Bitcoin reserves coming online this time, do you think that could change the cycles? Oh yeah. I think the 4-year continues to happen, but I think it's going to fade out. It'll probably be like every 2 years or something. It's probably going to be more boom and bust. Did I see the Jaguar ad? Yes. It's just a sign that company's dying. Completely retarded. Do I not trade Riot? Not this cycle. I used to. I used to really like Riot. I made a lot of money off of Riot last cycle. It was one of my biggest holdings with options, but I don't pay as much attention to it now. It's just I think CleanSpark and Mara are both better for different reasons than Riot, personally. Good morning from Taiwan. Hey JT, what's up, dude? Yeah, that Jaguar ad, something beautiful. Yeah, so this might be interesting later. There will be definitely a crush when MicroStrategy is going up by massive amounts. And let's say, I don't know, where are we going to be at that time? If MicroStrategy is above, like, I don't know, at least 1,500, maybe on its way to 2,500 or something, then I would look to get in to that short play on MicroStrategy. I would actually be interested in that because I think after that kind of parabolic move, eventually reality will set in. But I don't think you can do that anywhere close to now. You'll just get wrecked. So this thing will just continue to bleed. This thing could be like 10 cents a contract when you get interested in getting it. And that will be after being $25 a share. So it'll be painful. I mean, it could be 10 cents. It could be lower than 10 cents. It could be lower than 10 cents. So we're seeing some craziness. Thoughts on MK entering SMCI? Who's that? Martin Luther King? Who's MK? Sorry. Too many acronyms, guys. Too early in the morning for that shit. All right, Mike. Hey, Jesse, my retirement account has gone from $520,000 to over $1 million since following you. Should have held my MSTU longer. Move the MSTU profits to CleanSpark. I think that'll turn out all right. But I'm glad to hear you've doubled your money, man. That's cool. Being a millionaire is fun. Chicken Bro, meet Kevin. Oh, meet Kevin. Fuck. If anything, it makes me want to short SMCI, knowing that meet Kevin's in it. Dylan Hastings, Def Tef. Tom Lee indicated Eric Jackson also likes it, who called Carvana at 2. I still don't like Carvana. I think there's fraud going on there. Have you bought NVDL? I would not own NVDL right now. I mean, it could do well, but God, guys, NVIDIA has done so great, and it's like a $3.5 trillion company. Do you think it's going to go to $7 trillion? I mean, that's such a huge amount of money. So I wouldn't really be interested. DefTef. Let me see. So maybe I didn't have the right thing in here. DefTef. What is DefTef? Is this a fund? Is this an actual company? Let me just do this. I'll make a copy. Yeah, I think Carvana's sus as fuck. I don't. What is DefTef? Can you guys give me, or TF? Okay. DeFi Technologies. What is DeFi Technologies? It's an over-the-counter trade, so you can't even trade it with market orders. It's a 680 million. Is it a container? Is it just a container of shit? What is it? Looks like it had barely any trading as recently as 2018. It has shot up explosively higher from 2023 into 2023 to now. So a little over 13, 14 months, you've went from 4 cents to $2.28. So huge move. MSTU in the main account, not a lot. Just like, well, I mean, this is before today. It's up more. So maybe like 150,000 just in the main account. What is DefTef? Can you guys tell me what this actually is? I just don't know what their holdings are. Is it just a container of shit? Is this a real, like, legit company with earnings? They're 680 million. I'm amazed I can't find it over here. Let me look again. Let me just try DeFi. Is that it? That looks like it. But that says Velour. But it looks like the same logo. Let me just click on this. Maybe this is just NE. I don't remember what NE is, but it might just be a different indices. Am I still in TSLL? I've never been in it, but I've got millions of dollars in options on Tesla. I've got 2 million here and then more in another account. So like 2.2 million in options on Tesla, if that counts. So kinda. All right, let's go over here. So Velour. I don't know why this says Velour. Is this thing out of Ontario? Why does the logo look the exact same? Or is this just something weird? Why does this logo? DeFi.ne. Is this the same thing? Develops listed exchanges, traded products in Canada, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands. That all just sounds sketchy as fuck to me. Especially when you throw in the Cayman Islands. When you throw in the Cayman Islands, I get FTX vibes. I get like we're incorporated in the Cayman Islands because you don't actually own any of it. But is this it? Is this their revenue increases? I just don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I guess I don't know how to look this up. I don't know what the actual ticker is. I think this is probably the same thing. It's got the same logo. It plans to acquire equity, debt, and other securities of publicly traded or private companies and other entities. So it's trying to do something similar to Michael Saylor, but just with a lot of different stuff. It's like a container of different investments. The forward PE says 11. If this is it, it has the same logo, and it says DeFi.ne. But I just don't know what I'm looking at. I mean, I can tell you it went up a shit ton, and that this is incredibly hard to graph. Why is it hard to graph? Because, I don't know, no volume whatsoever in 2018. And it's already went up. I mean, I'm not huge on talking about things that have went up 4,400% personally. Man says, I have a six-figure portfolio aiming to touch 1 million in the next few years. Any advice? Yes, buy the right stuff. Buy the right stuff and hold it for the right amount of time. If you could do that, you're going to be rich. It's not always easily done, but I like to think I'm pretty good at it. I made 600% last year. I think this year I'm up over 50%. I'm hoping to have over 100% this year. Kind of had a shitty year. But next year I'm hoping for 200-300 pretty easily across the whole portfolio. Be interested to know why Tom Lee was reposting it. I'll have to take a look. I subscribe to FS Insights and all that stuff. I'll have to look. It's just, it's up so much, dude, and I just don't know how to value it. You know what I mean? We're getting ready for the market open, guys. I'm probably going to do my daily pee break. Maybe grab some more coffee. Let me see, though. Are we getting ready to? I'm going to try and get this. I don't know. I'll see. They should be coming back in a second. So I'm probably going to run and do that. Let me see. How about snagging Nike or BA at these levels, Jesse? I'm so into other stuff. It's just not my wheelhouse. Miyagi-Do trading. Stay away from the Motley Fool or you could become one. Yeah, they're rough. Alejandro, Giga Cloud Technology. Big congratulations to our client GCT for being ranked #1 on Forbes' most successful small cap companies. Why are they successful? What did it say? Their innovative approach to streamlining global sales supply chain is truly inspiring. Honored to be a part of the journey. What are the revenues on Giga Cloud? Oh, wow. This one looks nice. This actually looks nice. Beautiful net income. Revenue looks good. Debt's going up, but whatever. Doesn't really matter too much. They're trading at a single forward PE of 6.58. That's kind of weird. Short interest was double digit. It was 26%. Now it's down to 20. So the shorts are getting crushed. Institutional ownership is growing. Insiders have been selling, but if this company hasn't been around too long, that wouldn't be crazy. Revenues are going to start to drop for the next 2 quarters and then pop a little bit. But growth definitely looks like it's slowing. Ocean transportation, where are they making all the money? Is that total packaging? Giga Cloud, 1P, whatever that is. I mean, operating leverage looks good. It looks like it's slowing, but again, it's hella cheap. Still, it's hella cheap on numerous metrics, almost absurdly. Oh, it's Chinese. Fuck China. Fuck China. I don't give a fuck about. Don't put Chinese stocks in my fucking chat, dude. Like, don't do that. All right, I'm gonna get some coffee.
Let's get to a mad dash. A little more than a minute before the opening bell.
You know, David, you often accuse me of being mercurial,
Yes,
fractious,
correct.
unruly, perhaps capricious.
All those things.
But Tony Sacconaghi is a very good analyst at Bernstein. And he has a piece this morning, Apple, why it's still our best idea, our pitch in 1 page, 20 slides. This is 1 page and 20 slides about why you should not sell the stock. And one of the things, the most salient thing, because we're numbers people, he's using $9 earnings per share in fiscal year 26, the fiscal year, September fiscal year. What I think is most interesting, if you use that number and you put a Dell multiple on it, you get 129. Put a Microsoft multiple on it, you get 248. If you put an SPX multiple, all of these you make at 23 times earnings, you make money. So what I'm saying is that this piece basically says, I know you think it's expensive at a 32 multiple, but 32 multiple, $290.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
On a $9 estimate, right?
Yeah. So I think that, if you give it a 32 model and you use Tony's work, that shows you don't sell the stock. Even though though the quarter may not be up to snuff, even though Christmas may not be up to snuff on the 16th, this piece makes me feel more confident than I felt. I don't know if he's going to be on today, Tony, but if you put a $26 on 26 numbers, $9, 32 multiple, 290. Why sell? Why not own it?
Let's get the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange. On the big board, it's footwear retailer Boot Barn at the NASDAQ New York Jobs CEO Council, a nonprofit celebrating its progress in hiring 40,000 under-resourced New Yorkers. Jim, I thought when you were going to do Apple, you were going to do this counterpoint data looking at China sales during Singles Day, down double digits, which I know you never liked.
And there's a piece that says that it's actually the Evidence Lab, and I do like the Evidence Lab because they happen to have a show on CBS. It's right after football.
That's
right?
Paramount.
And Paramount. Yeah. Larry Ellison has that, right? He does that.
Yes.
But it talks about how there's virtually no problem getting there's no delay in getting any of the high-end products, and that piece stung. Apple has had to deal with China decline. It hurt the stock very badly last time, and all I come back and say is, look where the stock is now after it hurt so much. They are transitioning in a very deft way from making China to be by far their biggest market to India. And it's going to take a while, but there's no doubt in my mind that they understand India better than any American company. Any American company. And I'm very positive on that. They're going to make that deal with Indonesia, which I think is going to put them back. The Philippines, big. This kind of Mexico. These are countries that, if you add them all up, come to the equivalent. Actually, added them all up. The countries that we used to call third world but are developing, they equal 1.4 billion. Now, what else is 1.4 billion?
China. Yeah.
Thank you. And what else is 1.4 billion? India. And what's the age group? China.
Older.
And what's the age group? India.
Younger.
In other words, I rest my case.
There you go. All right, Clarence Dower.
What I miss?
Speaking of
the
bell
names
ring
that have come back, Disney,
we're
Jim, I
towards
know you were
95
active
again?
last night on the Disney Treasure. This is their 6th ship, and Iger
see how we're doing
talked a
over
lot
here on
about
the
bringing
watch
the
list.
theme park experience to these boats.
MSTU's at almost 20%
I
again.
had an
Oh,
extraordinary
God.
time.
This thing,
And
I wonder
you'll
if we get
see it.
another
I've got
30,
a big
40%
presentation
day on this bitch.
on Disney, but I
be
spent a lot of
sweet.
time with this fellow by the name of Josh tomorrow.
Look at that.
And
Hood's up
he is
over
in charge of Disney
6%.
experiences.
Miners are
He's a
finally getting a
remarkable
bid.
fellow. That's who I interviewed. Look, I'm watching this with Hugh Johnson, watching with James Gorman, Hugh Johnson, CFO. James Gorman, formerly
This is the
head of
drone
Morgan
show
Stanley.
last night,
Morgan Stanley, now we're on the board, and we're all like we're frantically taking pictures, and we're
ring.
sending to everybody
What
we
are we
know,
talking
and then some people we don't know. Because this was extraordinary. This was the Disney
Yeah, wow, we're
magic.
gonna
This
break
was the
95
stuff that
soon.
says,
I'm gonna move this
why
up to
is the PE
96.
so low? This is not just some company that is in the entertainment business. This was exciting. It was eye-opening, and I felt at the end of the day of spending with Disney.
We don't really care what you have to say. All right, let's go back. Actually, I want to see if there are any good videos while we're waiting here. And again, it looks like Bitcoin is taking off. We're getting near 95,000. Today could be a wicked day on MSTU and MSTX. Awesome, Paul. Congrats. Oh, I keep forgetting about that 3X fund, Cam. That's insane. I might have to start using that in the future. 3LMI is a 3X Microstrategy fund. I could see how people are going to leverage the shit out of that. It's brilliant. SpaceX launches 6th test. Okay, we don't care about that. We're really focused on diversifying and growing, says Qualcomm. C3 AI and Microsoft Azure partnership. Don't really care about that. Bitcoin trend is there. It could build up to a 240,000 long term, says Macro Risks. RFK heading HHS could be a game changer. Trump 2.0 will be different than the first regime. NVIDIA remains extremely well positioned for growth. NVIDIA earnings looming. Robinhood to acquire. That's really cool. That Robinhood video from the other day was great. Believe the market's going higher at the end of this year. All right, let's listen to that. Will Trump win means for India? All right, I want to see this one. Your friends are making fun of you, Matt Nintendo? Why is that?
whether these recent dips present an opportunity for your portfolio. Our next guest does see some more record highs going into year end, telling investors to start buying into some of these pullbacks. Joining us here at Post 9 is UBS Global Wealth Senior Portfolio Manager Alan Reckshoffen. Alan, welcome back. Good to see you.
Carl. Great to see you.
So do you nibble now? Do you wait for a bigger decline? What's the appetite like?
Look,
somebody asked, Jesse, are you going to sell BTC at this cycle or only miners? I sell out of the multipliers and all that stuff. I add to my hardware wallet, and I'll probably keep some ETFs, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. There's all kinds of ways to make money in markets. We will hit a top. But I think this one is going to be powerful. This is going to be a powerful Bitcoin rally. It's going to be crazy, which is why we're going to be paying attention to so many things like cycle top indicators, which I don't know if I have a bunch in here. Professional, total transfer volume by entity. Things like this, MBRV, Z-score. There's just a ton of other ones. Unrealized NUPL, the unrealized profit one is interesting too. There's just so many of these. We'll be watching all of them. And I might actually be paying for this advanced membership, which is very expensive. It's like $800 a month. We'll see on that too. But yeah, there's a bunch of ways to invest. Ha ha ha, they believe miners are shit. Oh, yeah. Those are they the same ones? How much of that 3,300% in gains did they collect? Can you ask them that, man? Nintendo? Let me know, because I imagine it's probably not 3,300%. MSTR, go back to the beginning of the video. It can still go up a ways. 300% maybe this cycle. It could be like a $300-400 billion market cap. Pretty easy. All right, what are we at? All right, I might shave off a little more MSTU today. Sorry, I'm hungry. I'm actually probably just going to do that right now. Just to increase the cash pile a little bit, I'm going to sell 100 MSTU at market up, I don't know, 20% or something. Why the disparity? I'm going to wait on that. I don't know why this one's 23 and this one's 20. Somebody must have done a big order. I'm just going to wait a sec and then go from there. Yeah, right at the beginning, we talk about, I went in depth. Actually, fuck it, I'll just sell 100 right now. It's up 20%. I can't complain. I went in depth on my thoughts on MicroStrategy. I think the strategy is brilliant, and it's really well articulated in this recent post or space from Michael Saylor. It's just really brilliant. He's a brilliant guy. I love him. And he's going to suck up so much fucking Bitcoin, and that's wonderful too. We want him consuming all the Bitcoin because when he buys it, he doesn't let go. Yeah, right. When do I think the end of the cycle will be? Depends on how quickly it goes up and how far. But history tells us Q4. So that's what history tells us. Saylor to pitch Microsoft. I know. I didn't actually find my post for that. He's got 3 minutes to. Why is it only 3 minutes? And Saylor can't talk about anything for just 3 minutes. But he's going to be pitching Bitcoin to the Microsoft. What is his name? Nadella. I can't remember his name anymore. But he's going to be pitching it to the CEO, which is insane. It's really crazy. Let me hop over here. I want to see what we're doing. Let me get back to the watch list here, since that broke. What is wrong with this mini trust? That is not right. Maybe it has something to do with their options. Such a Nutella. Thank you. All right, so we're seeing a little bit of retracement of the days going. Mara's still doing good. CleanSpark's doing good. Yeah, Riot's jumping a little bit. Riot's getting a little bit of a bid. That's cool. Let me resort this. I want to see who are the losers today. Hims, Palantir, NVIDIA. So there's a few things going down. That's interesting. I wonder, what are we at today? I'm trying to look here real quick. This hasn't really updated yet, but I'm trying to see where I'm at with Hood. How high are the options right now? Nothing too exciting. Oh, I hate it. I hate this shit. I really have to fix this. Where do I think MSTR tops out? I don't know. And well above 1,000, maybe 1,500, something like that. It could go up to the 2,000 range. I don't know. Saylor doesn't like the idea of the mining because it's not lucrative enough for him. Yeah, it dumps fast. But I mean, so did Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down under 94. So Hood's supposed to be up 6% on the day. One sec. I'm just going to check. I fucking hate this shit. Why is this bombing out? So annoying. I'm going to... fuck you. I hate this thing so much sometimes. I really have to fix this to where I'm just... Oh, why the fuck is this happening? It's so annoying to have this thing just crash. I'm probably going to work on that. I don't think I'll work on it today, but I'll try and get it fixed this weekend where I don't have to worry about that anymore because I'm on one PC. You for sure invested in a high-end mic. It's better. Oh, can you hear the crunching? Is it working? Are we getting the full? Can you hear it? Are we getting the full? It's delicious. ASMR. I'm going to be an ASMR channel. That's what I'm going to do. That's a great idea. This is all we're doing from now on, guys. We need Jesse fed. Trust me. You don't want to see non-fed Jesse. It's like meat, nuts, and cheese, and a little packet. ASMR in Jesse's basement. This is what people pay the big bucks for. So Hood's up 6%, but if I'm reading this correctly, the options contracts aren't up a lot, but it could be broken. Let me see. What are we at here? Oh, yeah, no, it's super broken. All right, so what do I want to sell? What do I want to sell? Maybe nibble off a little bit of cash. Probably not too much, though. Maybe I'll just do 10. 11 point. All right. I'm going to sell a couple contracts on Hood. Just to nibble off. I like to gather those cash positions. I like to take profits when you can get them. Just in case next week gets weird, I'll have 6 figures to be able to buy the dip. Yeah, still looking good, though. Still looking good. Let's hop over here real quick, though. All right, so I want to listen to this real fast, and then I'll turn down my mic for a second so we can listen to UBS talk, and you don't have to listen to my crunching ASMR. 1 second. ASML, we're just doing ASMR. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. 1 second. We'll get to that, too.
The big story is obviously the President of the United States. And we have a new president, we have a new administration that's very focused on structural changes. So any time ahead of those implementations seems like a time to deploy more capital. We believe that the market's going higher by the end of the year. Maybe we'll touch the highs that we had immediately after Election Day. But what's more important here is that we have structural changes on the horizon. The talk yesterday about the appointment of Kevin Warsh as Secretary of the Treasury. These are ideas that show that this administration's focused on working through the debt problems, the ideas that there is structural issues in the United States that can be handled and can be profited from.
Structural challenges like?
like the debt, $29 trillion in debt, the Fed's balance sheet going from $1 trillion to $9 trillion down to $7 trillion now. All these things are things that are directly in the line of sight for this administration. And you see that from DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. You see that this is an administration that's focused on fixing some of the structural issues, not just dealing with playing whack-a-mole.
Do you think the long end of the bond market is appreciating that effort?
Well, you've seen the long end of the market rise since September. We've risen something like 70 basis points. And I think that we have a problem of inflation that has to be dealt with, and that's something that the Fed is trying to deal with. The Fed is on a course. We believe that the Fed's going to lower rates again in December, although it's 50-50 according to the market. We think the Fed's going to lower interest rates by 25 basis points. Next year, we see them lowering as much as 100, but we do have a big change in focus from the Biden administration to the Trump 2.0.
More pro-growth.
More pro-growth, less regulation, the idea of fiscal responsibility.
Right. More growth, but the Fed's going to cut another whole point?
So we see that given the data that we have right now, where the Fed is right now on the track that they are on right now, that is the plan. This could change depending on who the Treasury Secretary is, what happens in terms of the Fed's reaction to the fiscal realities of what's going on.
So fiscal discipline is something that I'm not sure the market knows how to price right now. And ultimately, doesn't that hurt growth when you see big spending cuts?
Well, I think at the end of the day, having a lot of debt is not good. It doesn't feel good personally. It doesn't feel good for the United States. And we haven't had an administration that's really been focused on changing that. With the discussions.
No, it might be all good, but is it good for the equity market?
Yeah, I think ultimately it will be good for the equity markets because we have to put ourselves in a position where our country is on a secure framework. You've seen the rise in gold, the rise in cryptocurrencies. All this foretells a real challenge for the dollar. And that's something that the Trump administration is very much focused on, that the dollar has to remain the reserve currency, which inures to huge benefits for corporations.
Don't you want to then avoid, as far as equities go, anything that has a touch with government contracts or government spend?
Well, it depends. If those government contracts will be beneficial if you have a less regulatory environment, then I think that this is a key time to be invested in those companies. You look at structural changes in the utility industry. What's going to happen with nuclear? You look at artificial intelligence and technology. You have huge PE ratios on technology. Maybe they're justified when you have a world that's totally changing. I mean, I'm sure that you've experienced on your own, you playing with AI, but it's more than just playing with AI. It is going to change the way everything is done.
Are you not afraid of the tariffs?
I think that the Fed has demonstrated that they see through the tariffs, and I'm going to defer to their ability to assess it. If you look at the rhetoric about the tariffs versus what Trump implemented in Trump 1.0, there is a schism between the two, between what Trump may actually do and what he's talked about. But I think that Trump is trying to handle a structural issue that the United States has been at a disadvantage, and he's trying to handle that through tariffs, which reasonable minds can debate whether that will be effective or not.
So all of this, paints a really good picture, and it makes you feel bullish. I guess one question would be, how much exposure do you add at this point where we've already seen such a dramatic rally?
Yeah, so when we're overweight equities, and I would still be overweight equities going into 2025. Once more, I think we're going to see a record high again by the end of the year. We've had 50 this year so far. Maybe we won't get a 51st, but we'll be up towards record highs again. If these structural changes are in place, if we can have a fiscally responsible house, depending on who the Treasury Secretary is, depending on how the Federal Reserve reacts, and we see this structural changes in terms of utilities, technology, and the way interest rates flow. If the interest rates bring inflation under control, yes, I think that we should be deploying more capital to the equity markets, and we can be very confident going into 2025.
That's one reason why this Treasury appointment, our nominee announcement, will be so key for markets, and we're still waiting on that.
Yeah, and I think that the notion of a Kevin Warsh Treasury is incredibly interesting because he's somebody who served in the Bernanke administration. He's somebody who's been a fiscal responsible person and is also a well-known quantity to Wall Street. And I think that is particularly helpful because you see this administration that's not only looking to make structural changes, but is looking to do it in a prudent way. Whether Kevin Warsh gets the job or not, it demonstrates the focus of this president.
Yeah, for sure. Alan, thanks. Good to see you.
It's great to see you,
kicking
Carl.
off the hour.
Thank you.
My bad. Getting better. I do agree with what Alan said from UBS. Trump's presidency is a game changer for markets. It's definitely going to make a huge difference. Sorry for the mute, guys. Thank you for being on top of me there and making sure that I'm doing the right stuff. Let's see what else. So they had that National Hockey League commissioner. I don't give a fuck about that. Ooh, housing. I want to hear housing. Housing. I want to hear housing. Let's watch this.
Joining us right now, what that could mean for buyers and sellers is Ivy Zellman, the associate CEO. And Ivy, sounds like it's bad news for everybody all involved as mortgage rates push higher again.
Well, it's certainly not good news, but it's been interesting with rates now actually about 6.8% on the 30-year fixed rate. We've seen surprising resiliency in terms of volume. However, we're seeing a pickup in listings having to reduce prices and incentives that our builders are continuing to offer, predominantly mortgage rate buy downs. And the area of weakness that we're seeing across the spectrum would be more of the entry level, where the move up market has been very strong and remains, I think, surprisingly resilient despite rates moving higher.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we're still dealing with a situation where there's just not enough supply. That's particularly difficult for first-time home buyers. As you mentioned, at the entry-level price point for all of these things, it's keeping people from being able to buy homes. There's a huge backlog there. What's the solution to that problem? How's it get fixed?
Well, I think that the way that we think about the solution is that we need to see, that local municipalities, cities partner with developer builders to utilize land that's not out so far out in the rural areas that you can't have trades willingly driving out there to build homes. So I think it really has to be providing more affordable houses closer to the employment centers. And I think that really comes at the local government level. It's not going to be at the federal level. I know that Trump is talking about utilizing federal land, but that most of that land that's out west is really called third, fourth ring, even further out. And trades and prospective buyers are not going to want to drive. They'll spend more on gas than they would on their mortgage payment. Well, maybe not, but it's too.
Well, the time factor too. Yeah, having to commute somewhere to a job. So if the federal government can't make progress on this, how optimistic are you about local and municipal levels being able to do something about this? How long does it take to get us back to what we would consider a more normal situation?
I guess I'm somewhat skeptical that it can come to fruition because, not in my neighborhood continues to be a big impediment. And I think that will continue to really curtail any likely significant improvement in building affordable housing. I know that there's some opportunities that have come to fruition in different markets in Seattle and Denver, but it's very small. It really is not enough.
I mean, we've all been a little surprised, I think, by the 30-year and the move higher for the yield there, the move higher for mortgage rates as the Fed's been cutting interest rates. Has that created a panic in the industry, or how do people plan and accommodate for that? We're not seeing lower rates like we'd anticipated, at least on the long end.
Referring to the builders or realtors?
To the builders, to the realtors, to anybody involved with this. I mean, this is a problem to try and tackle. We even see it playing out to a company like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. It's not developing the way they had anticipated, and that means everybody's got to have a longer-term plan for this.
I think they adjust. I mean, what we're seeing at least for the builders, they continue to use mortgage rate buy downs, kind of averaging 5%. In some markets, they're lower than that. And that's still creating volume for them. They're still selling homes, but they are providing that value incentive. And I think in the existing market, inventories are up, call it 20-25% nationally, but that's allowing for more pending activity to come to fruition. So we do have buyers back in the market. Remember, we have a very strong economy, and we're still seeing that result in more demand. And I think that everyone's adjusting. Affordability is still very stretched. For the existing home market, we're about 20% above trend line. And in the new home market, we're about 10% above trend line. So I think that the builders and realtors and buyers are adjusting. Remember, when interest rates were approaching 8% not too long ago, we did have continued demand. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the volume, for 2025, assuming rates stay where they are today, be in the mid to higher single digits for the new home market. And we actually expect a pretty good rebound in volume for the existing home market, given that it's at recessionary lows. So not getting back to trend line, but we do think price will be the factor that needs to be adjusted downward. And we are seeing markets where pricing is not only moving lower, but we're actually seeing pretty big reductions in list prices. So that's definitely going to be the lever.
Nice.
And joining us right now are the Property Brothers. We have Jonathan.
I don't know if I got anything new on that, and this is old. Yeah, that's November 11th. I don't care about that. Let me see. I don't think they're not talking about much on CNBC right now. Let's just see if there's any. Don't care about hockey. Sorry, guys. Trump's treasury pick will be exceedingly important. Yeah, of course. Still wish it would have been Cantor Fitzgerald, but whatever. Here's how UBS. Oh, that was already done. Pre-market rundown. Don't care. Harrington, Conagra down 9% since. Yeah, okay. Comcast spinoff. Kansas City Chiefs president. Trading, very strange situation. DJG's trading. Yeah. Bitcoin hits fresh record highs. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what they have to say about Bitcoin. What percentage cash? Oh, not a lot. No, it's a very small amount. Maybe 1%.
So the price of Bitcoin near an
Probably
all-time high, getting
maybe
closer
1%.
now to the $94,000 level. This happening as ETF options going live, giving investors a new way to hedge their exposure. Kenzie Segalis is here, joins us with more this morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
So what's going on?
Is what U.S. crypto investors.
Yeah, to be clear, markets could have went higher. They probably would have rejected immediately and went lower. And then eventually with all the spending went higher. But then I think the U.S. economy would have been utterly fucked if Kamala had won the presidency. Socialism is a horrible thing. If you guys didn't see the Lex Friedman interview with Javier Milei, you should watch it. Javier is brilliant. Javier is 100% right. And he's going to pass on some of the things he did to remove 3,500 government regulations from his country in a period of 6 months, and how that helped so much. So, Kamala would have been horrible.
Have been waiting for. On Tuesday, the NASDAQ listed options on BlackRock's $44 billion spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, day one of trading showed that more than 80% of options volume were call orders to buy Bitcoin, meaning that investors are betting that the token is poised for even more gains. And this is just the first of the U.S.-based asset issuers to offer options. The other 10 providers will soon follow suit, with several more slated to list on the New York Stock Exchange later today. Now, this is really a significant moment for Bitcoin adoption, because rather than just buying and holding the asset, this next stage is all about creating a new margin framework for Bitcoin so that you can amplify your returns. Being able to hedge positions and make leveraged bets is a big draw both to retail and to institutions. And even though we've seen a lot of trading volume on the CME derivatives exchange, getting options tied to these spot crypto products on the NASDAQ and NYSE is a big unlock for traders, because ultimately, Andrew, a more robust onshore derivatives market is how you attract fresh investment, which is a tailwind for the price of Bitcoin.
It really boggles the mind what I was just thinking about. You could write calls. You could write calls. You could buy puts to protect your downside. You could sell puts to acquire Bitcoin at a lower price than where it is. You can do spreads. You can do straddles. The volatility is so high, the option premiums must be exorbitant. So you could sell options.
But so the question is, does the volatility come down materially?
And that's what a lot of analysts say will happen.
Yeah. If that happens, but does that then put a cap on it, or does that?
Can it happen? Because that's a tail wagging the dog. Because Bitcoin is in here. Yeah, but by definition, Bitcoin has been volatile. Do you think options really could lessen the volatility of the underlying asset?
I mean, that's what some analysts are saying, especially as you build.
Is there a sound issue? Amplify returns sounds toppy. Oh, you're not talking about my sound. Now I'm getting caught up. Yeah, MSTX and MSTU are the gift that keep giving. I do think we're getting toppy eventually, though. If we pull this up, and don't get me wrong, like the top could be like 50%. If you own 3LMI, the 3X Microstrategy fund, that was probably the real good one. Can you hear me? No sound. Okay. Maybe not for you. No, not sound. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So if we look over here, I mean, we're run up 10%. I think we could get to 550 soon. That's the golden retracement zone. That would be a good time to stop. But if we break past that, it's just up and away. In this thing, you got to realize narratives, again, markets can be irrational. So this thing could just keep cruising. 82% between now and the end of the year for MicroStrategy. I don't think that's unreasonable. For us to see 9 or 850. I don't think that's unreasonable. I know that sounds crazy, but it can happen. It can happen. Sealess USSR was obsessed with zero unemployment and made up idiotic jobs to keep it as such. For example, in building sector, the nail counter. You could count nails. That would be a great job. Can you imagine how horrific socialism is? Like socialism, they're like, oh, after Javier Milei took over, socialism became, or unemployment became, poverty skyrocketed to like 52%. He's like, yeah. And he goes, they never counted anything as poverty before. So poverty was almost non-existent. And yes, it went up a lot under my term, but that's because we were portraying reality. By the way, speaking of reality, we're near 94,850 on Bitcoin. Not a bad looking day, guys. Not a bad looking day. Gonna make lots of money. Yeah, boy, Jesse makes lots of money. More than me, Kevin. All right, Terrence. Cheers, Jesse. Appreciate the alpha to start the morning. Nice. Now off to the real job. All right, sorry, buddy. Good luck with that real job. All right, let's see how the other stuff's doing. Are we getting any bumps across anything else, or is it just the Mara or MicroStrategy party? Looks like just the MicroStrategy party still today. Fucking clean spark, really hard on the nerves. People love the FOMO. They love it. You guys eat that shit up. You guys and your FOMO. This ETH thing is super broke. This mini trust, that is not up 900% today. I can tell you that. But yeah, 24% on MSTU, almost 9% on Mara. Hood up 5.33. This MSTY fund, the yield max for MicroStrategy option income strategy, I don't think that's worth it. I don't even think I should have that in here. It always underperforms. I mean, why would you do that when you can do a 2x or a 3x MicroStrategy? I don't understand. I don't even understand, because it's generating half of what MicroStrategy is generating. Why would anybody do MSTY? Bonk is up. BITX is up. Riot is up. Again. Oh, Clean Spark's only up 0.46. I'm sorry for your loss, guys. I'm sorry for your loss. It will be good in the future. You might not understand that, but it will be. Cheers, Jesse. Appreciate it. Oh, no, that was that one. MSTY gets its CC strategy destroyed as MSTR keeps mooning. I know, right? Which means their strategy is bullshit. It's bullshit strategy because MicroStrategy is just going to go up. It's like, why would you mess with the yield strategy that's returning over 40%? Mikhail Carlson, I'm way too heavy in Clean Spark. Bothers me that it's lagging. Yeah, that happens. That's why it's good to have diversification, guys. If you're learning anything at all, learn diversification. Because if not all your eggs are in one basket, you'll be a happier person. I've got over 500,000 in Clean Spark, but that's 10% of my portfolio, right? So again, it's just all about understanding diversification. I was buying 3LMI at 36 today. It's up 52%. So I sold 40% today and put in a Clean Spark. Yeah, that's kind of nice. That's a nice rotation. I might actually, when we get really, when MicroStrategy gets its inevitable, beat up, when it gets just crushed again, maybe that's after it gets to 850. I don't know. But when it gets crushed like 30, 40% again, why wouldn't you go in on 3LMI like heavy? Why wouldn't you? Just seems like a brilliant idea. Unless, again, not too heavy. We always want to be diversified because there is company risk. You got to remember, Michael Saylor just got done settling a lawsuit for not paying taxes and had to settle for like $40 million. So there's still person risk and there's still company risk. I don't think it's that great, but just remember that. Tesla price target by end of the year. I hate the end of the year stuff, BGZ, but I mean, let's just take a look. Let's take a look while this other stuff is happening. Let's look at Tesla. So I think Tesla is consolidating and ready to moon. I think at least, I don't know if we hit 400, but I think 390 is inevitable, which is only like a 15% move higher than what we're at right now. I think though I think between now and the end of spring, I think we could be all the way up to 600, honestly, by the end of spring. And maybe that doesn't end up being 600. Maybe it's just a blow off a little bit, 40% higher than where we are now. That would be a great number though. That would be a lot of money for me. Oh, 2025. Oh shit, 900. 900. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's this. So 2025, by the end of 2025, it's between 600 and 900 in my opinion. And I know there's other people that are already booking in 1,000. And when irrational exuberance kicks in, or again, it just starts to really price in future earnings in a heavy way, then I think we can get to that. But I think 900 isn't a crazy number. People made fun of me so much for $900. And again, Tesla's only at 342 right now, but I think that could happen. When I posted my video, guys, ages ago, talking about Tesla going to $900, people thought I was retarded. I got shit on so bad from people. And I made a ton of money. I made a ton of money. Those people didn't. I did. Let me see the 4 phases of consolidation. Got it in here somewhere. Yeah, let me see. It's in here somewhere. I know it is. I got to be up near the top. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. Tesla Micro. That's probably a better way to look it up. Yeah. Yeah, so like this one. I did this. This was my first one, I think. Oh, it was probably so bad.
All the way down.
Look at
with
the
gains
quality. It's
I
just
make
horrible.
from Bitcoin.
So I was saying, hey, it would be poetic if we dropped to $69 because then we would have hit 420 almost for the high and then got down to 69. But I'm like, we don't even have to go that far. We could stop right here and then go higher. And that's exactly what we did. But I talked about how I could get 9x gains in the 4 phases of consolidation and all that kind of stuff. This was my $14 million bet. And I talked about all the reasoning behind the different phases and why phase 2 to 3 was so weak. Just a bunch of stuff. And again, it's done really well since then. It's up like 200%. So the whole market is shitting. The whole market is shitting. That's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit. Let's see here. I'm glad I took some money. I mean, MSTU still looks good. It does seem like it's going to roll over, though. And I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I might take a large amount of profits on MSTU. Just because I like cash. I don't know if we're going to shit. I actually probably think we don't. But I've also made tons of money. And I want more cash. So I'm selling the rest of my stack. So up about 20% plus on the day. And I've sold a ton of MSTU. So like 90% of it. I just did that. So I got a bunch of Microstrategy still. I think I've got 6 figures in Microstrategy. But I've got a lot of less MSTU. And it could go up and I don't care. If it does, these trades treated me very, very nice. I love the multiplier. Again, still beating the shit out of Meet Kevin's little peepee. That's all I care about. Could Symbiotic have the same move as Ionic? I have a small position. I don't know. All right, let me post this real quick. I should probably do one of these. One of these. All right. So I have 150,000 in cash, roughly. Impromptu move, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And I don't mind having the cash. Plus, between the ARGT that I put in, my Argentinian fund, I have 200,000 in source of funds, which isn't a huge number. What is that? That's like 3% cash now that I'm in. Is that right? I don't know. Got to do the math. It's not a lot because I'm sitting at like 5.3 or 5.4 million dollars. So 200,000 in cash is like a really low number. Not big at all. What's happening with CleanSpark? I think it's just hanging out, right? Down 3.8% today. Like Bitfarms, down 3.65% today. Like Iron, down 3.84% today. Like Mara actually holding on better than the rest, 3.8. So it already kind of front-loaded its dip. Yes, I will. Usually do, but I'll get it in there. Boo, 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 boo. $100,000 and MSTU. And this might not be needed at all. All right, there we go. We're in the Discord. Could I check out CHGG? Sure. I can do that. Chegg. Wow. Wow. This was definitely not the bottom when I drew this last. What a miserable investment. Holy shit. I don't even know where to start on this. This is just so bad. I mean, is it the bottom? I don't know. What are the finances on this, dude? This is just miserable. Let's look over here. This just looks like a bankruptcy to me. Yeah, yes. So Keith said, Jesse, do you think that the shorts are still driving miners down? Yes, right now I do, because I don't think there's enough upside price pressure in miners, because MicroStrategy has taken the lead. So yeah, I think it is pulling miners down, of which I'll just continue to enjoy that. I'll continue to buy more. I will continue to buy more. You think it's the bottom. Is this for Chegg? Chegg is continuing to lower its revenue guidance, which I don't love. Their operating expenses, their expenses are now exceeding their revenue, which screams future bankruptcy. Stock-based comp is 16% of revenue, which means they're basically having to switch back to diluting shares from when they were buying them all back. It sounds like they should have bought Bitcoin over here. Instead of buying back their shares, they should have been buying Bitcoin and had a reserve. They'd probably be a much more survivable company now. But they lost $212 million last quarter and $616 million the quarter before that, off of $136 million and $163 million in revenue. This company looks like doomed. They do education and training services. I don't know. Why should we be interested in this? It's just dying. Its forward PE is 2.56. I mean, if you know this thing is done falling and you think they're just lowballing their estimates, then maybe there's hope here. But companies without growth generally don't do well. And in the market we're in, like, why would you be in this? Why wouldn't you be in something else? I don't know. Just doesn't look that interesting to me. All right. Chegg is an educational technology company based in... Yeah, so, yeah. Satchery, AI will kill this. Yeah, I could see that, right? Oh, yeah, totally. I could see that. I could see that. All right, Transmedic Group, running at a 61 forward PE. Looks good. Looks like it's got decent growth. The only thing is the valuation's a little rich. You got insiders selling, but, I mean, that's not much. Institutional ownership growing. Short interest really growing. 26%. Why? Cash is burning. Debt is about even. Share dilution is still occurring. Free cash flow is still not a real number. They burned $41 million last quarter. They made 108. Not the worst of the worst, but not great. G&A is so expensive. They're just not scaling much at all. Why is it so expensive? What is this? Medical devices. Huge institutional ownership, very little retail. Service revenue, organ transplants, liver, heart, and lung. So that help with the transport of all those things. I mean, it looks all right. This looks decent. It's just a forward PE. This thing's probably run up a ton. Alejandro really likes the ones that have been going up a lot. Let's look here. What was that again? What was that ticker? TMDX. Not a value shopper, Alejandro. Oh, wow. Weird, actually. This one's been crashing. Oh, probably just because the PE was outrageous. You can see the double top and like the rollover that occurred. You can see when it broke down under here, you were fucked. It went well past the measured move. It's down to the .618 retracement zone. That's actually not a horrible zone. That's actually usually the zone you start to bounce from. There could be, and we're in oversold on the weekly time frame too. This is about the time you bounce. This could be a good short-term play or a good entry point if you're looking at getting into this one. Because just to get to the previous high, you're looking at 175, 180. So I would say actually this one looks more interesting. So somebody said, Ilofton 92 said Head and Shoulders, potentially, right? Like you could see a pop up to 93, and then if it rolled over, it would get scary. It would get real scary. But the company would have to have some major fundamental issues because the measured move on this is pretty unrealistic. I mean, I guess I can't say unrealistic. It's possible, but like 33 would be painful of a drop from when you were at 178. So it would definitely lose some momentum. But again, the actual financials, assuming these are reflective of the fundamentals, still show strong growth. So if that happens, I think that this is probably a good buy zone for TNDMX, or what is it, TMDX, because the financials still look pretty good, and it's a much better valuation now than it probably was. 61 is a much better looking forward PE. And if they continue to do good, that thing could be in the 40s before you know it. Javier Nojados Macho. Trying to work on my Spanish here. Any reason for the market dip? I don't know. Is there? I haven't really been paying attention. Let's go over here. Let's look at the watch list and see what ours is saying. I mean, I think it's just probably, why would the market dip today? Maybe speculation that NVIDIA doesn't do as well as people think it's going to, right? But I like the Mara still up 6%. You got Matic up, Bonk up. You got some shit coins. Hood's still kind of doing okay. Glad I took a little bit out of that. PayPal. But again, if NVIDIA crushes earnings, then people are going to look stupid. Adam, you going to whip shitties in the Cybertruck when you get some snow? It actually, that's ironic that you said that. It actually just snowed today for the first time this year. Or since, winter. Geopolitical possibility. Ukraine fired another missile. So, they've been doing that for 3 years. Let's see. What is the news? Let's see if there's any breaking news. What's the breaking? Trade of a lifetime. Yeah, Microstrategy definitely was. What goes up 888% since the beginning of the year? He's right. That's legit. How should the U.S. government describe its custody strategic Bitcoin reserve? Fort Blocks, TikTok, Trump Blocks, Fort Freedom, Trump Citadel. I like Fort Blocks, dude. That's Fort Freedom's cool too. No, I don't care about IBIT. I don't. I said this. So, am I buying options? No, I don't like options when everybody gets in them all at once. The premiums get too rich for me, so I haven't even looked at it. I don't care. Maybe later. Chris Patel is talking about how he's up on Mara. Good for you, Chris. Good for you, buddy. Kelly, shout out to all the millionaires who came from virtually nothing. Hey, I'm in there. We didn't grow up rich. Nope. We didn't inherit anything. Nope. We didn't marry into money. Nope. We didn't have our odds in our favor. Yep. Do you think the S&P would ever let MicroStrategy into the index? Yes, they totally will. She likes things that go up. Wow, that's beautiful. Dude, that's beautiful. All right, anything interesting going on? No. I don't know. Is there any news? What does Grok have to say? What does Grok say? MicroStrategy enters top 100 U.S. companies. We know that. Target earnings sucked. That's probably why the market's down. That'd be my guess. We talked about that at the beginning. They did not do well. I think it's partially go woke, go broke. Walmart's doing good, but Walmart has memberships and other things that skew the results. Robinhood named top crypto deregulation beneficiary from Bernstein. That's fascinating. Bhutan's billion-dollar Bitcoin bet. I love that. I love that Bhutan's doing really good. Bhutan's such a great country. They're not really focused on wealth, monetary wealth. So it's just amazing that they're a beneficiary of Bitcoin. I think that's beautiful. All right. What should I buy today? Bitfarms is down a bunch again. I might pick up a little bit of Bitfarms. Just a wee bit. Something tiny. Maybe like, is it 3,000? What does this even go for? $2. Maybe I'll do 3,000 shares of Bitfarms. $6,300 bucks. Bought a little bit of bitty. What else? I still have $500,000 in iron down 4.5%. I'll throw a little bit in it. A little bit of iron up in here. Just a tiny amount. Let's see here. What do we want to do? 700 shares? Yeah, that's good. All right, so I just dropped 15 grand back into the market. It's down about 4.5% on the day. Anyway, kind of a boring day. Tesla's down today. Should I buy more Tesla? Nah, the contracts aren't down low enough. I'll wait for them to bleed. Cleansburg's down. I could just buy stock on Cleansburg. I still have $500,000 though in options. That's so much. Ooh, maybe today is a day to apply. Nope, but Mara's still up. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I'm probably good for now, guys, I think. VIX spiking. Yeah. I've been to Bhutan. I'm not surprised they invested in Bitcoin. Smart government. I believe it, Mike. I really do. Archie calls. Ooh, Archie calls. What are those doing? Haven't looked there in a while. I've got 2,500 contracts. I feel like that's a lot. I'm probably going to wait. Are you using the same expiry? I'm not using an expiry. It's just buying iron stock right now. I might get into some options here soon. If MicroStrategy keeps outperforming by like huge margins, then I might do that. I might get into some options. I have so many ARKG calls. I have 2,500 contracts, guys. Like, multiply that times 100. That gives me a lot of ARKG. Just realize what nonsense I wrote. Russia will not nuke Ukraine no matter what they do unless they somehow do blitzkrieg. Now, yeah, Russia doesn't care. They do care. Putin wants to save face, but he's not going to nuke Ukraine, especially with the president coming. Donald Trump's going to be president in like 5.5 weeks, dude. Why would he go to war and risk the apocalypse of the world when Trump's going to help end the war in 5.5 weeks? MU's only down 1% though. So it's like, meh. meh. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm just going to sit on cash. It's okay to have cash. I've only got like, guys, I'm sitting on like 1.5% cash, maybe 2%. No, not even 2%, like 1.5% cash. I think that's okay. ASML. 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 Yeah, let's look at that one. I know I was checking it out the other day. This one has been beat up. Excuse me. Let me move over here. Lithography, right? Lithography. Let me lock this one in real quick. Yeah, dude, that would be a good place to bounce. How much has this dropped? %41%. That's pretty steep. This would be a good bounce zone. What do the financials look like for these guys now? I mean, we're under the 200 weekly moving average, so we need to get it back above that. But ASML ran a long ways, right? Oh, shit. Hate it when that happens. All right, ASML ran hard. Yeah, I love ARCG. I think it's going to be great. If the market continues to take off in the future, I think ARCG is a great play. Wow, this one's down. Yeah, so the weekly we're oversold. It looks like we're getting some divergence on the MACD. Had a really great run from 369, but it's not looking so great now with as much as it's retraced. Let me look at the actual financials. Yeah, it ran with everything ran with NVIDIA. That makes sense. All the chasers love that shit. They love to chase things they don't understand anything about. So it looks like revenues are going up. What is this quarter, Q4? Do they normally have spikes in Q4? I mean, they had one over here. They had one over here. So Q4 is usually a spike. That's a strong spike. I wish Q1 and 2 looked better. But still, not bad. What's the forward PE's 26? That seems pretty cheap for a company like this. Net bookings, net income, what'd they make? 2.2 billion. Cash flows have not been super great. It's a $254 billion company. I don't know. I think Microstrategy is probably still a better deal. But this thing could get a bounce. It could definitely. This would be the place that I would expect a bounce right here on ASML. This is pretty freaking cheap. Oh, that's TMDX. I mean, that one could bounce too. But this one, we're underneath it, so maybe it wicks down a little bit further. I mean, if broader markets suck, this one could get hit. Why don't I have a volume profile here? Where's my visible range? Ah, okay, let's turn that on. Definitely want to see that. Ah, okay. So yeah, maybe you gap down to that 600 range, because you can see where there's that kind of a cavern here, down to like 610, 600, right around there, 610. You could gap down to maybe 610. At 610, this looks like a deal. Galaxy, yeah, you asked earlier. You were polite. A few of you guys did. Let me pull that up. And then after, hey Jesse, we always appreciate your content. My MSTR CCs got called out. Oh, you had covered calls. Yeah, that's tough because it could just keep going. Already enough minor and alts. Would you wait to add BTC exposure? Feeling top blasty now. I think Bitcoin can still run. But I'm not sure that now is a good entry too, and I don't know what your position is. If you have a lot already, then like maybe you're fine. It's just hard to say. I don't know your situation, man. I hate this. I gotta fix this. This is driving me fucking nuts. I gotta fix this. Galaxy, do I have this? No, I don't. Okay. So this whole refresh breaking thing is driving me nuts. I just gotta fix this and bite the bullet. I can't wait. I'm gonna buy a new MacBook Studio in the future. It's gonna be stupid. I just want to wait until the M4s are out though. All right, so Galaxy. This is Galaxy Digital. Ah, okay. I don't have a lot to go with the way of macro for this, or I should say financials for this, right? I can look up Galaxy, but it's just a fund, isn't it? So the best I can do is something like this. It got up to the .5, it rejected. It's probably going to get up to the .618 pretty easily. I don't know enough about this fund. Frankly, I would be more interested in MicroStrategy than this one, at least right now. I just don't know how to weight this one. MicroStrategy, Bitcoin miners, so much easier to weight. But these guys, they don't have revenue, right? Let me just look here real quick. Do they? Oh, I mean, roughly. A lot of share dilution. Virtually no revenue. Yeah, I don't love Galaxy Digital. I don't know how to price this. Ives on CNBC. Oh, Dan? Trading view session disconnected. Error always pisses me off. Well, and I've got two different computers, but I really don't need my other one, which I spent a fortune on, my Windows-based computer. It's got a 4900 G, like whatever, graphics cards, like it's so nice. But it had issues with just breaking down all the time. I'm getting blue screens to death. Anyway, and even the technicians at like a couple of different computer companies couldn't figure it out. But I don't need to use them. I can actually rig this up where it's all running off my Mac, and I think that's what I'm going to do going forward, just so I can avoid that bullshit, because it's annoying. Bitcoin's still pushing higher. It looks good, guys. MSTU's up 25%. I'm imagining 3LMI is up like a stupid amount today, maybe 40%. Let's see what else we got going on. Jesse, do you know when or if you're getting TradingView discount code? Yeah, we should. They usually wait closer to Turkey Day. Let me see if let me just look on here. I can ask them too. Here, let me oh, I probably shouldn't pull that up right here. Let me just do something real quick. I'll ask TradingView to respond back to me. These guys are great. Okay. Yeah, and they gave me, what did he say? He said he gave me premium too last time. These guys are great. All right, we'll see how long it takes them to respond back. They're cool peeps, though. I don't think it'll be too long. Yeah, it's always during, it's like right at Thanksgiving, I think. They want to get people over the holidays. So I should have a code. Jake, a bunch of people will be passing out codes. Usually 50% discounts, sometimes more. So it's real good stuff. I'm officially no longer identifying as a liberal. There's so many people like that. How much do I pay for it? I don't know. I think they gave me a free year last time because I must have pushed it out to a bunch of people. Oh, is this the Milton Friedman one that you guys were talking about? I mean, I love Milton. I haven't seen this. I want to hear this real quick. Bitcoin, almost at $95,000, guys. Pro version is the best. I agree. Because then you get that volume profile, the visible range volume profile, the BRVP. That's like, you got to have that. All right, let's see here real quick.
And with the military.
One second.
14 is a lot for television, so I want to just go
Milton
right down
Friedman,
the list
guys.
quickly and have you give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Keep them or abolish them. Department of Agriculture.
Abolish.
Gone.
Oh, man.
Department of Commerce.
Abolish.
Gone. Department of Defense.
Keep.
Keep it. Department of Education.
Abolish.
Gone. Energy.
Oh, cool.
Abolish.
How?
Except that energy ties in with the military.
95,000 Bitcoin coming, guys.
A little bit that handles the nuclear,
right? That ought to go under
plutonium and so forth goes under defense, but we abolish the rest of it. Health and Human Services.
There is room for some public health activities to prevent contagion. Such a thing as, for example...
So you'd keep the National Institutes of Health, say, and the Center for Disease Control down in Atlanta?
No, not the National Institute. No, those are mostly a research agency. No. That's a question of whether the government should be involved in financing research.
And the answer is no.
Well, that's a very complicated issue, and it's not an easy answer with respect to that.
We'll eliminate half of the Department of Health and Human Services?
Like
okay, one half. There we go. Housing and Urban Development?
Out.
Oh. Didn't even pause over that one. Department of the Interior.
Oh, well, but housing and urban development has done an enormous amount of harm my God, if you think of the way in which they've destroyed parts of cities under the rubric of eliminating slums.
Jack Kemp,
you know, you remember that Martin Anderson wrote a book on the federal bulldozer describing the effect of the urban development.
I love this guy.
There have been many more dwelling units torn down in the name of public housing that have been built.
Jack Kemp has proposed selling to the current inhabitants of public housing their unit, their townhouse, their apartment for $1 a piece, and just shifting the ownership to the people who live in it.
If you got rid of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, it would be worth doing that.
All right, done. That's gone. Department of the Interior, your beloved National Park Service.
Well,
MicroStrategy about to hit 500.
The problem there is you first have to sell off all the land that the government owns. But that's what you should do.
But it could be done pretty quickly.
It could be done. You should do that. There's no reason for the government to own. The government now owns something like 1/3 of all the land in the country.
And that's too much. Should go
That's
down to
crazy.
zero.
Should go down to, well, not entirely zero. They ought to own the land on which government buildings are.
Okay, terrific. Department of Justice.
Oh, yes.
Keep that one.
Keep that one.
Labor.
No.
Gone.
I love
State.
this man.
Keep it. Transportation.
Gone.
Gone. The Treasury.
You have to keep it to collect taxes.
All right, collect taxes through the Treasury. Veterans Affairs.
You can regard the Veteran Affairs as a way of
It was just halted by the London Stock
essentially
Exchange.
salaries for services of those who have been in the armed force. But you ought to be able to get rid of it.
You should be able to
just
pay it off.
Pay it off.
Pay off lump sums, perhaps.
That's right.
And just get rid of it. Okay, Milton Friedman, if you are made dictator for one day, the next day the American government...
No, I don't want to be made dictator.
You wouldn't?
I don't believe in dictators.
Okay.
I believe we want to bring about change by the agreement of the citizens. I don't believe in arbitrary rule.
Let me put it this way then. Your proposal...
If we can't persuade the public that it's desirable to do these things, we have no right to impose them, even if we had the power to do it.
All right. From 14 departments down to four and a
basic
half.
fundamental functions. What are its fundamental functions? Preserve the peace, defend the country.
All right.
Provide a mechanism whereby individuals can adjudicate their disputes. That's the Justice Department. Protect individuals from being coerced by other individuals. The police function.
Right.
And now, this is both the central government and the state and local governments. The police function is primarily local and central.
Right.
And those are the fundamental functions of government, in my opinion.
Milton Friedman, thank you very much.
God, what a brilliant guy. He's just freaking awesome. Somebody asked about selling MSTU. I just dumped a huge portion of my MSTU. It's up 7% since I did that, but I dumped it. So I'm really low on MSTU. I've still got MicroStrategy. 6 figures to that. Ryan Rip. Jesse, do you still think that miners will outperform MicroStrategy in total this cycle? No, not in total. Fuck no. No. I mean, some will, but not in total. MicroStrategy's... So, yeah, no. But do I think that the vast majority of the gains for MicroStrategy are in, and that you stand a much better chance getting higher returns now from miners? Yes. Why do I say that? Because MicroStrategy is up 3,600% from where it was 2 years ago. 3,600%. And if it gets up to this .618 fib extension, it'll be up 4,000%. So do I think that these other miners will outdo it? No. I don't think they will. No, I don't think they will. Because again, it's definitely, it was the right narrative. People that stayed in MicroStrategy and that focused on MicroStrategy first and foremost, and that were slower to get in for miners, are winning. But from here on out, I mean, here's the deal. Even if this thing gets up to the next fib extension of 860, I think that's doable. Or even the next one, let's say it gets up to 1500, which is doable. It'll be up 11,628%. Do I think a Bitcoin miner is going to outdo that? Fuck no, I don't. But if we do the math here real quick, from where we're at right now, That is 200% from where we're at right now. So do I think you had the majority of the gains already? Yes, I do. I think you already had the majority of the gains. It's missed opportunity. It doesn't mean you should FOMO into it at this level, especially an MSTU or a 3LMI right now. Fuck no. You do not want to be in that. Also trying to avoid capital gains. I'm in MSTR for a lot and have 2 to 3x. When should I get out? That's up to you, man. Is this an account, an IRA or a Roth IRA or a SEP? If it is, you don't get taxed until you withdraw the funds, assuming you live in the United States. If you've been trading in and out of this, then you're probably paying short-term capital gains, which is a very hefty tax bill. It's a lot bigger than the 15% that you would pay for most capital gains. I mean, it's tiered based upon how much you make, right? So if you made over like 450,000 or something, then it jumps to 20% for long-term capital gains. But short-term capital gains are going to be more like income and like 30% maybe or more. So, so it just all depends. I only do long-term holds in a regular account. So I hold the stuff for a year, so I pay long-term capital gains. Benedict, so effing Neo jumps on bad earnings while CleanSpark is down at BTC all-time high. I'm extremely patient, but starting to get a bit annoyed. I mean, Neo is shit. Neo is shit. And people are stupid, and markets are irrational. You have to know what you own. If you don't know what you own, you're probably going to have a tough time of it. But let's just look real quickly at Neo. I'll pump it over here into my MSTR chart for now. I just won't save it. So let's look at Neo. Yay, Neo's up 3%, if that's what we call pumping. Let's go back, though. Let's look at this evil chart. So how much is Neo down from its all-time high? Oh, I remember all the Neo people. So many Neo people. Neo, the Tesla killer. So you're still down 93% on your investment with that one. And CleanSpark's up like 700% in the last 2 years. So I'm going to say these aren't really comparable situations, personally. But if you want to look at a day, you can look at a day and you can make yourself believe anything. Let me see. I'll read some of the longer ones here. Lance, if you sold long-term losses but have short-term gains, do those balance out? I can't remember if short-term gains and losses are calculated the same way. I want to say they are. But with options, things get weird. I don't know 100%. Consult a tax accountant to be sure. I don't know off the top of my head. I know they count them separately, but that's probably just to ensure that you're in the right tax bracket. But I would assume they count against it. If anybody knows for sure, throw it in chat. From the USA, of course. Christopher Capuno. Hey, boss. You think these boys playing with CLSK because they see the options chain for July option is high? Or is that number based on calls or puts? I'm addicted to adding to my portfolio. I don't think anybody's playing with CLSK. CLSK is down 2.27. Bitfarms is down 5.22. Iron's down 3.65. Mara's up almost 10%. And remember what I told you about containers? Which one did I tell you would be the one to most likely run next? Mara. So Mara is actually outperforming the rest of the shit coins. And somebody said they tagged me. I'll take a look at that. But if we look over at miners here, guys, let's just look at this real quick. And let's sort by, let's just do the watch list. So today, what's doing good? Microstrategy and Mara. That's it. All the other miners suck. But this is good. This is a sign of things to come. We like this, okay? He said CLSKW is up a lot, but CLSK is down. I mean, that happens. What is CLSKW? Is that a leveraged play or is that something weird? I don't know what vehicle it is. Assuming it's something with theta decay. Man, U.S. media portrayed these stupid Chinese companies as Tesla killers just because they hated Elon. Yeah, exactly. Well, and some of them, you got to remember, oh, God, guys, we're so close to breaking 95,000 right now. So close. Oh, the warrants. Oh, well, the warrants were broken for a while, too. Yeah, the warrants were broken, too. I haven't looked at them since. But that's probably an indication that people think they're going to make a bunch of money on CleanSpark in July with warrants, because warrants are cheap, right? So, yeah, I could see. So the warrant market is up and CleanSpark's down. Yeah. All right. Value Maxi, just so I'm clear to recap, MicroStrategy may be a 3x still from here and miners a 5x. Yeah, that's my take. Some miners I think could be more than 5x. I think they could be 5 to 10 because miners should be a 4 to 6x or have performed 4 to 6x the underlying. Right now, I mean, MSTR is the rocket ship. It looks beautiful. But that will weigh on it eventually. Its own size will weigh on it. I mean, MicroStrategy's up what today? 15% today, and it was a $90+ billion company. So it's well over a $100 billion company right now. Can it go to 300 or 400? Yes, it can. But I think companies like CleanSpark could still 10x from here, especially from where they're at. Just depends on how high Bitcoin goes and irrational exuberance. You get these weird peaks. So it could be different than that, but I still think that they outperform from here. Do I wish I would have owned just a shit ton of MicroStrategy in the last 10 years and no miners? Yes. I do wish that was true. Because then I'd be up a lot more than I am today. But you can always look at stuff like that. You could always do better. You can always pick the better thing. But what you don't want to confuse is, what does it say that it's up? Are the CleanSpark warrants a little broken still, though, guys? I know they were fixing them, but I don't know, like, return percentages and all that stuff. I don't know. All that stuff can be weird. Mergen van der Kloot. Miner profitability will be absolutely explode. Exactly. Okay. You fucking get it. Somebody fucking gets it. Thank you. If the vacuum that is MicroStrategy sucks up all the Bitcoin along with all the ETFs, you know what happens? The profits for the miners go exponential. Why don't people realize this? Jesse isn't MSTR.618. It depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you're drawing it. Oh, if you're also using log, always use logarithmic. Oh. All right, guys, I do have to spend some time with my nephew. I'm trying to hang out with him today before his court appearance at 2 o'clock. This is the day where we figure out what his future is going to be. He had charges that could give him 30 years in prison. It sounds like it's going to be a lot better than that. And we've worked really hard to try and make that the case. But today is the day of reckoning, and he's not even 20, so I need to spend some time with him because he's got probably a lot on his head right now. So I love you guys. What did you say, BTC dominance? Let me check real quick. I haven't looked at that recently. It's probably looking just sick today. And it could get more sick because of what MicroStrategy is doing. MicroStrategy is just a vacuum. It's just a vacuum. Yeah, see, it's almost at 61%. That's crazy. I thought for sure we would be breaking down and rolling over once we got to this point. Benjamin Cohen said, nope, we're going to continue to go up higher. He was 100% right. I think that I don't know how much higher we get. I don't think it's a lot higher, like maybe 65 or 60s. Maybe. I mean, maybe the vacuum sucks it all up. But otherwise, I think we're going to eventually see this thing roll over. And maybe it uses this previous resistance line as support. MB says, sorry to hear that. I have similar case in the family and can relate. Yeah, my nephew just made a stupid mistake and he's young. And the sad part is since that time when he made this mistake, he just had his baby, Lincoln, who's a cutie and 3 months old now. And so ideally by some miracle, he gets house arrest. He lives with me right now. Yeah, hopefully that's what happens. BTC is the store of wealth. Yeah, it's going to be the big one. The other ones, I still like Solana. I like Solana. I think the rest of crypto ends up having some function, but 99% of it is trash. But yeah, I better go. I'm going to get emotional anyway. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Probably going to skip the tunes today. Or you know what? No. We shouldn't skip the tunes. There's a perfect tune for this. It's Bitcoin is going to zero because it obviously ain't. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you tomorrow. And pray for my nephew. Thank you.
I've always been
been deeply opposed to crypto.
Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay?
It's over.
Go fuck yourself. Yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. What do you do? What do you do? Yourself. Is that clear?